Cardone here, and welcome to the 10X Money Challenge. So Kevin, thanks for taking your time. I appreciate it. Always good, I always enjoy chopping it up with you. Would you rather be a big earner or a small investor?
Small investor all day long. The way to look at it, I have this thing called know your nut, Grant. Listen to this. And I do this with really wealthy people too. Know your nut. You don't need a computer. You don't need a phone. You don't need anything. You need a piece of paper and a pencil. Listen to this. I asked them, just show me all of your income over a 90-day period, and on another sheet of paper, what you spend in that 90-day period. I don't want computers. I just want you to think about how you make it. And even really wealthy people spend beyond their means. The boats, the cars, the girls, the restaurants, all the stuff that they're burning cash on that they're not putting back into the market. You got to start thinking about what happens when you turn 60 and 65. You got to start putting money away and build that nut, that nest egg. If you don't know your nut, you're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, and Kevin, would you rather earned income or passive income?
Passive income.
See, because I hear some people say, I heard one guy say, a big social media guy, no such thing as passive income. I'm like, I got $1 million of that last month. Like, if it's not real, I don't know how it got to my account because I didn't trade time for it. And
I think the philosophical way to look at this is when you have money working for you all night long, you're sleeping, and it's out there doing its thing, either giving you interest or a dividend, or it's in a capital that is growing because you're invested in a business. That was money. You had two choices. You could have spent it on something like, cars or something and just pissed it away, or you put it to work in the market, which is making you 7 to 8% in perpetuity and sometimes more.
First of all, do you believe it's real if you were 25 and broke, whether you live in Canada or America, that you could become a millionaire in America today?
Yeah, I did that. It's exactly what I did. I didn't become a millionaire in Canada. I moved to Boston years ago. I didn't want to be an employee. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to work for people. Never could. Always got fired. And so I started my own business, and I worked like hell. And we sold it for $4.2 billion. That was years ago in Boston. And that was my first, crack at the whip, if you want to call it that. And then I retired for 3 years, went around the world, lived everywhere. I got back to work. And, I've been very fortunate since then. I've had many winners and many losers. But the point is, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to focus on investing. You got to put capital to work and let it grow.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, Kevin. Yeah, in the beginning though, like how important is it for the individual to make a commitment, not just to a job, doing a good job, getting better at their job, but like, okay, I'm going to create wealth for myself. Is that an important step to make? It's
the most important step. And the way you do that is you have the discipline to put aside between 10 and 20% of what, I don't care if you make 50 grand. If you make 52,500 is the average income in America. You take 10% of that each month and you invest it in the market, the stock market, an index. I don't care what you buy. Everybody can save 10% of what they're making.
Yeah.
Everybody. They just don't have the discipline to do it.
What do you like better, the real estate that I invest in or the stock market that you talk about every day?
I do both. I have a pretty big real estate holdings.
How big is it?
Well, it's 31% of the portfolio. Right now, it's a little less because I've invested in a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah.
But it's always the core. I own a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Now, real estate is a wonderful thing, but it can cost you money if it's just land. It can cost you money if it's residential and you're not renting it out. But it's an asset class that has never let America down ever. Either you buy real estate or you buy stocks. You have to buy assets.
Yes.
You got to decide what you're going to do. I prefer assets because I learned from my mother that produce some kind of interest or dividend. I live off the yield and the dividends. I never touch the investment. I don't sell it. I've owned these things for decades. And then each month, I know my nut. I know exactly what I'm going to bring in, and I have the discipline not to spend more than I'm bringing in every month. It's a very simple philosophy on life. The more you make, the more of a lavish lifestyle you can have, but you never touch the principle. And if you can, pay down your debts, because you got to be debt-free by the time you're 60 years old.
So you're saying you live off the dividend or the passive income, not the earned income. Am I right? You don't
It's the passive income. I take that earned income after tax and I invest it.
Right. So you take your earned income.
And that's how I grow my nut.
Yeah. So your earned income is the money you invest.
Yeah.
And the passive income is the money you can buy the Rolex with.
Exactly. Exactly. And I know my nut. Every month I mark to market what I own. I see the cash coming in on the passive investments. I know what I can buy in a watch. I got an expensive wife. I got to take care of her. So all of this stuff, we got a bunch of houses. I love real estate. I got to pay for all those too and maintain them. But I know my nut. I never spend more than I'm bringing in. I love the nut. The number I like that I strove for so long when I was young, I told my dad this and my mother, if only I could figure out a way to put $5 million aside. Mm-hmm. And I worked like hell to get that first $5. The rest was real easy after that.
Yeah. Do you think?
Once you have money, you can make money. That's the whole point.
Yeah. How critical do you think having that target locked in on? Like, even though it was a fantasy to you, you didn't know how to get there, you didn't know the mechanics, but you locked in on that $5 million. How important was that?
Gotta have that locked in number, because you know what happens is you're thinking about buying something and you got your nut, you got your number. And you say to yourself, do I really need this piece of crap? And the answer is no. I'm going to put it towards my target. I mean, you're teaching the right disciplines here. I don't care if your target's $1 million. I don't care if it's 500,000. You got to hit your target. And the way you do it is you have the discipline not to spend money on crap you don't need.
Okay, what does a person do? What's the person
from name? Deborah McIntyre.
Deborah wants to know, what does she do if she's just starting and she's in her 60s?
So if you're in your 60s, you're just starting, the easiest way to do it is, first of all, focus on paying off your debt. You really don't want debt. I'm including credit card debt, which sometimes you pay 17 to 21% on. You got to pay that down. When you're in your 60s, you got to get rid of that. So maybe you're not going out as much. Maybe you're not taking that trip. Maybe you're just being frugal until every debt's paid. And then you start putting it out there into an exchange traded fund, which is what I like, diversification. Or if you decide to get into real estate, you buy your first building, and it's got to be an income property, though. It's got to be an income property when you're 60. It's got to be an income property.
No land, no speculation.
No speculation. You got to know you got, as I like income. To say, cash flow.
Cash flow, baby.
Flow.
Cash is king or cash flow is king? Which one?
Listen, cash flow is king.
Give me my sweatshirt. Give me my sweatshirt. I got to send him a t-shirt, by the way. What percentage, this is from Manuel Rodriguez Tartak, what percentage of your earned income would you invest in personal development?
You know, that's a great question, Grant. That really is. You should always be learning. You should always be doing things that keep your mind stimulated. And I don't care what age you are, you're always learning. So I think I put, maximum 3% into that. Like, it's an expense, right? You're not going to make any money on that other than make yourself a better person.
Yeah.
But I always say you're not doing that till you've paid down your debt. Everything's about getting rid of the debt. Get rid of the debt first.
Yeah, I would tell you, like, I would go into debt for my personal development.
Well, I can't get there. I hate debt. I think debt is evil. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You've been
spending too much time with Dave Ramsey. How much debt? Let me ask you. Google, Apple's got $300 billion in cash right now. What do they got? I know you got.
No, but I don't listen, Grant. Let me qualify
and
that.
And then they go borrow money.
I have debt on my real estate. I got mortgages on my commercial real estate. I got mortgages on my cold storage facilities. I get that. I'm talking about personal debt.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
if I've got the cash flow to pay, like if I can get a great 3.5% or 3% or 280 basis point, on stabilized assets. If I've got a facility that's spinning off cash, like my cold storage units, of course I got debt on it. But it can afford it because it's got cash flow.
Yeah. But let me ask you, what's a better investment than Kevin O'Leary?
Nothing.
Exactly. And that's what I'm gonna say to you.
What about this question?
That's what I'm gonna say to the young man that asked, would he borrow money for his self-development? I'll be like, you're the best investment.
Well, I see your point there, but if you're lost, you don't know what you're doing, you should invest in yourself.
Yeah, you got to clear that.
Find out a path. I mean, the thing, Grant, that I like about you is you push the idea of having a plan. You got to have a plan.
Yeah.
You may not achieve your ultimate goal, but you got to go in that direction. If you're lost, you got to have a plan.
Yeah. So your first wealth was because of the company that you sold, right?
Yeah. No, listen. I had.
Were you diversified?
My wedding, we couldn't even afford pizza.
Yeah. Were you diversified? Were you diversified when you built that company?
100%. No, listen, no, I was not diversified. I had 99.999% of my wealth in my company.
So the advice you give is actually different than the success you had.
But I'm telling you, if you're not going to run your own show, if you're not going to be an entrepreneur, you got to be diversified as you take money out of what your income is if you're an employee. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, and that's a third of the population, then you're riding with the herd. Then you're doing some stuff where you're really, really, taking some risk, and it's often rewarded. Now you're great. Listen, I think what you talk about is really important. You got to focus on setting that goal. That's the best message you make and you say, and people listen to you because it's important. I really, really believe that everybody can dig themselves out of a hole if they focus. Focus. I'm a believer in that, and I just, I support anybody that wants to get focused on just putting some money aside and investing in it.
And how important, Kevin, last question, how important is it to stay with people that are supporting you and believing in you, a group, like to keep things together?
I think that's where you get your strength.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be alone. It's really, really hard. Everybody's got problems. Everybody's got troubles. Everybody's got an issue. Everybody's got a family issue. I don't care how rich you are, you got trouble. That's just the way it is. In fact, sometimes the more you make, the more trouble you got. That's why you want a support group. I totally agree with that. I like community. I got one myself, and I always, try and ask, look, I've got this problem. I got this problem. You know what life is? It's problem solving every day. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what you're doing.
I'm going to have you over to the new house. We're going to crack a bottle of wine, something good, something you like, and have a cigar or something, okay?
I love that, Grant. I'm going to teach you how to be a salesman.
Let's go, man. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks a lot. Hey, Sharon, so good to have you here. Always good to be with you. Thank you for being part of this, okay? The Money Challenge, the 10X Money Challenge.
My honor. Happy to be here, Grant. Thank you. I sing the exact same tune you are, Grant. I talk about it's not what you do for your paycheck, it's what you do with it that determines your future, and always concentrating on investing assets. My tagline, assets are sexy. Don't live above your means. Expand your means by investing in assets so that you can afford the life you want.
Do you think it's too extreme to think of this concept of not changing your quality of living and only putting all the emphasis on the quality of investments?
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I grew up with parents that I was embarrassed by. We lived in a little tiny house between my mom's beauty shop, my dad's used car lot. We owned rental properties that I had to go scrub out between tenants. We never increased our living standard, but my dad was building asset after asset after asset to the point where some orange groves he owned, he sold to SeaWorld. And so I saw it from the inside out, how that builds wealth. And how concentrating, and you use the word discipline, capital letters, every one of you, discipline. But it's also proximity. Who are you associating with? All right. When you're in Grant Cardone's group, in his world, you can't help but be intoxicated about understanding the power of discipline and money.
So I have this theory that people should spend only from their passive income and invest only their earned income. What can you? And I've heard you talk about this.
Well, my definition of financial freedom, and I know you're going to agree with it, you are financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses, and it doesn't have to be billions or millions of dollars. You are financially free when the income from your assets exceed your monthly expenses, which means your assets are the ones working for you. They're generating the income. So instead of exchanging time for money, which is what happens when you're on commission or what happens when you're an employee, and there's only so many hours in this day, only so many days in the week, you can't get rich working for money. So instead of exchanging time for money, let's invest our time in buying, building, and creating income-producing assets. Because when you do that, those assets become your employees, and they don't have personalities. They don't have to worry about them. They're there working for you every single day, generating income.
So you're saying the individual that is spending money from earned income should put their attention on only spending from their investments? Like that would be the discipline, the calculation, the formula?
That would be the goal. The goal would be to focus. If you've got a job and you're covering your expenses, then focus on how you can create other assets that generate income for you. Because when you are looking, so people say, I need to get a second job. Don't do it. Or I need to ask for a raise. Well, maybe you need a raise, but that's not how you look to expand your family's finances. It's through assets.
Yeah. So what assets do you let me, before I go to the assets, because I know everybody's going to know what investment, I think it's really, really important to understand what Sharon's saying here is that your first target would be your income from investments would handle your expenses. And maybe that's when people change their standard of living.
That's exactly right, Grant. If we want something, when we bought our ranch 15 years ago, we bought it from the investment income that we had been accumulating over the years, not from money that was our salary, quote unquote, which we haven't had for many years. We've been financially free since I was 38, following the same principle I grew up with my father, understanding that if you want something, you find something, instead of buying that Porsche, buy an apartment building that the cash flow from the apartment building pays for the Porsche. Because the Porsche gets paid off or you sell it, but you still have the income and you still have the apartment building that's going to continue generating that cash flow.
Right. So if a person's living, if their basic living is $4,000 a month, if you could earn 10%, you would need $40,000 worth of investments. I think that'd be right. No, that wouldn't be enough. You need $400,000 worth of investments, really, to pay your expenses through the year, for $48,000 of expenses a year.
You talk about $40,000 or $400,000, but that $400,000 may be an apartment building that's giving you cash flow. Right. And that cash flow, so you're getting tax benefits. So we can talk about this all day long if you want me to.
Yeah.
You've got the ability to, you own 100% of it. You get 100% of the appreciation. You get 100% of the tax benefits, but you only put maybe 20% down. The bank puts the rest. So but you're getting the benefit of the cash flow from the entire property.
Yeah, I wish everybody just understood the simplicity of this, because getting rich is actually easier than staying poor. The biggest mistake, Sharon, I made was just thinking too small in the beginning. Can you just speak about the importance of big think when it comes to money?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, I have the Play Big movement in Facebook because of that. We all have things that stop us. Things that happen to us, death, divorce, illness, and we end up playing small. We go insular, and we can't do that. We all have a gift to share, and you're cheating people if you're not making it available to everyone. And if you think bigger, and part of the problem is they hang around with people who are playing at the same level they are. All right. You want to hang around with people who are playing that bigger game so that you not only learn from them, but you gain that energy and ideas and amazing opportunities. If you're not there, it's all about proximity. If you're not there, you're going to continue staying in a small pond. So, Grant, I always challenge everybody. So I want everybody that's watching and listening right now. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Think about it. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Because I know you, Grant, you're always seeking something new, something different. Me too, as I challenge myself to do it. Because if not, I get in a rut. I get into the same thing, habits of every day. And habits related to money are important to have, discipline. But always looking at what new problem can I solve? What new need can I serve? Get really good at what you do. Don't get spread too thin. Focus it, get it, become successful, get that financial freedom, and then be able to go into other fields as well.
Yeah, if you were going to tell people one thing to invest in today in their neighborhood that they could be in control of, they could trust the most, that would provide them with these things, these assets that you're talking about, and this security that you're talking about, what asset class would that be?
It would be residential rental, multi-housing, because of the fact that no matter what happens in the economy, people always have to have somewhere to live. Yeah. I would probably, as well as, I've invested in some type A properties with you, Grant, but I actually recommend B's and C's for people that are just getting started, because that's pretty much recession proof. People are always going to have somewhere. And so your focus should always be in buying, building, creating income producing assets. You may need to learn a little bit before you can do that. You may be able to find somebody that you can align with and learn as you go. But it's really important that you pay attention to what your end goal is and understand every choice you make, every dollar that hits your hand, you have a choice. Are you going to throw it away? Or are you going to invest it so that it has a return for you?
You mentioned Class C is a good way for a first-timer to start if they want to buy property. What would you recommend in terms of mitigating the risk of being in a redevelopment area where not many businesses are attracted to be there?
Well, I think, Grant, you should answer that question because you're the expert.
I would run from that deal. I would run. you guys don't like, your first deal, you need to make sure your first deal pays off, because if your first deal works,
don't buy that kind of problem your first deal out. You want something that's going to be ready to roll. You don't want something that needs to be rebuilt.
I had a family member bought a deal in Oakland, California. They thought they stole it. I'm like, do not buy that deal. She ended up losing it to the bank because she couldn't manage it. She's like, it's a good deal. The price is low. The rents are good. I'm like, yeah, but as soon as she bought it, nobody would pay her. She didn't know how to collect the rents. And so she'll never do another deal now because her first one was
a disaster.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you want your first deal to be one that works.
Location, location.
And there are some nice B properties, really nice B properties. So.
And I know Sharon told you guys she would go B and C, but I'm just telling you guys from what my career in real estate, if I had one thing to change over, I would have bought the better locations and not the better properties, but the better locations, taking a lower return. Because when appreciation happens and inflation happens, the better properties blow up faster.
But could you have waited? Like, because the cash flow was important in the beginning, right? Like you were chasing cash flow. You were going after those
hogs. because I didn't trust my ability to earn money, and I think.
But Grant, that was all education to you. You learned how to do it when the numbers were smaller. I mean, Mike and I now, we're invested in 10, 15 years out in developments of cities. And so, but we would never have done that. We would never have tied our money up for 10 to 15 years when we were getting started. Yeah. And so for me, is how you get started, how you learn, how you basically earn the right. And, the very few people would be able to go out and buy an A-class property. Number one, that the lenders won't let them because they don't have the experience and the talent. And on Class A property, you want to get a non-recourse loan. Well, they're not going to let you have a non-recourse loan if you don't have experience in the industry. So how do you get that experience in the industry with a smaller, less, the smaller properties where you can earn the degree?
I just remember there was this one deal in La Jolla, California. I remember it almost every day. And I could have bought it. It was like a 6% return, but I went for the deal that paid 9%. And if I'd have bought that deal, I mean, it was like the 3% was nothing. It was not even a big difference, but the explosion on the upside was enormous. Sharon, you've been awesome. I really appreciate it. I don't want to take any more of your time. You've been extremely generous. You guys give Sharon a big love, love, love. If you have any other questions for Sharon, I'll make sure she gets a list of them. Okay. My man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Grant. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good to be back with you. Good to be back with you.
You too. We had a great time. And if you guys wasn't there, Grant packed the arena. I mean, it was 18,000 people in there screaming, hollering, and ready for knowledge. Brother, you did an excellent job, and just want to, say congratulations. And thank you for helping millions and millions of people around the world, get their finances together, make money, understand what wealth is all about.
Yeah, and you're a good businessman too, and I'm proud of you, man.
Well, thank you. Listen, I had to get a track record first of success, and then once I got that, I was able to take off.
Yeah, so like leaving the game, was it actually, I think a lot of people think you're leaving the game, it's going to be easy for you, but I can imagine that some people probably had you locked into being a player and maybe didn't give you the respect, or you had to still earn that respect. Is that true?
Grant, you're exactly right, especially in the business world, you know. But I was smart enough to meet with a lot of successful people, and I told them my dream and goal was to become a businessman. Michael Ovitz, you know, he really connected me with the business world, so I owe him a lot. Peter Gruber, who was running Sony at that time, chairman of Sony, and not only did he become a mentor, but he connected me with other people. And right now, today, Peter and I own 7 businesses together. You know, and so I'm a guy who was thirsty for knowledge outside of basketball. I was a sponge. So when a billionaire would tell me to show up at his house at a certain time, I was there an hour or two ahead of time, you know, because I wanted to pick their brain and also have them give me knowledge and also access to other people and to deal flow, right? Because one thing that they have that the common man might not have is deal flow. So they taught me early on, make sure you have equity, get equity. You want to own. You just don't want to invest. You want to own. So they taught me a lot of things, Grant, that I wrote down and I started executing on, even when I was a player. But it was hard for the money first to accept me as a serious businessman until I made the Starbucks deal. So I owe Howard Schultz a lot of credit because once he gave me his brand and allowed me to build 125 Starbucks, becoming the first person outside of Starbucks to do that, that was the deal that really jump-started my whole business career.
Yeah. Now, do you still have those stores, or did he grab them back and say, man, we can't do this anymore?
No. Well, I learned from Grant. I said, hey, I had the multiple negotiated already in the deal. I was going to sell them back to him in Starbucks. And boy, that exit.
Did you crack?
That was a big exit.
It was a good exit?
A great exit. So I exit the Lakers because I used to own the Lakers too at the same time. So then, Grant, I'm sitting on hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of cash. And then who would ever thought that the Dodgers would be for sale? And then I jumped on that because, as you can see right now, the market cap of sports teams are going through the roof right now. And so we bought the Dodgers at $2.2 billion. Forbes just listed us at over $4 billion we're worth right now. Wow. And growing.
So how important is it, because I was brought up to pay less, you know, get the best deal, buy low, sell high. How important is it now that you've had these experiences to pay for make premium investments and take big positions?
Well, see, Grant, you're right. You always say, hey, I want to pay the lowest price. I mean, Buffett and everybody else going to say they want to pay the lowest price. But at the same time, when it's a premium asset, right?
Yeah.
And you're not the only one bidding for it.
Right.
So you're going to have to probably pay a premium price. And so you have to be comfortable with that, especially after understanding, hey, this is what has happened in the last 10 years of that company. And this is where the company is going to grow. And you're going to reap the benefit of that growth potential, right? And so you can't be scared or nervous. You got to press that button and go grab that premium asset. And I've done this so many times. A healthcare business in the state of Florida. We bought it for $20 million. We sold it for almost $1 billion. You know, you grab it, you say, okay, let's go ahead and build it. How can you add value to this deal, right? And how can you help it grow? And you go out and do just that. And so, but I'm so disciplined, man. I'm not that average guy. You see, I don't wear no jewelry. You know, I wake up every morning, 4:30 in the morning. I work out for 2 hours, and then I'm in the office all day.
Dude, man, I love you, man. I gotta tell you, I don't get shocked at people much, but I mean, you laying down hard today, like.
Oh well, you wait. When Grant invite me, this is my second time. What else do you expect from the Magic Man, Grant, hooking up?
Look, and what you're saying, because like I forgot that I even had an audience tonight because I'm sitting here thinking. I swear to God, like that's true. Like I forgot the audience. I was like, I'm just getting so shell shocked And you're confirming some moves that I'm making personally right now in my real estate space. I mean, when we were together in Vegas, I think I was at, I don't know, maybe $600-700 million worth of real estate. We're at $3 billion today.
Wow. And that's what you had told me. That's right.
Yeah.
You have grown that number since we were in Vegas. Hey, amazing, my brother.
Every time I get around,
we're talking about.
Yeah, every time I get around you, I grow. And now I'm thinking about, man, I need access to a new level of people. How do you do, like, what advice would you give the audience? They're not Magic Johnson. They're not famous. Right. They don't have that card. Nobody wants to be around them like they did you. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give people about how important that is and then how to do it?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's very important because, again, see, you have to see somebody do it to help you understand that you can do it.
Yes.
So if you're at $50,000, $100,000 or $200,000, whatever that number is, and you're saying, man, I see that person, he must be at $1 million or 2 million or 5 million. Then go over there and talk to him. Listen, all he can say or she can say is no, right?
Right.
So, but if you don't ask, hey, how'd you get there? Why did you invest in this? Every time I go into a business, if the owner says hello to me, I'm asking, what made you get into this business? You know, I love knowledge. I'm thirsty for knowledge. So I'm going to talk to people. And if they say, hey, Magic, I can't tell you that. I said, okay, cool. But at least I asked, you know, and so I think it's getting in those rooms. And a lot of times that room is really in a foundation event. It's really an event that you can pay to get into and you're getting a write-off at the same time. And I tell everybody this, get there early. The most successful people get there early because they're going to get there and then they're going to leave early. So get there early. If they say it's starting at 6, get there at 6. So you can, if it's starting at 6, get there at 5. So you can meet those people who are successful and rub elbows and start talking. Because I'm going to tell you something. Once you're having a drink with somebody, they don't know how much money you make. They don't know anything about your wealth. So just start talking to them and getting information.
Just to boil that down, I want to be sure everybody understood what he said. The best way to make contacts is to support other people's foundations and charities. You go. Because the moment you do that, people look like, oh, this guy must be doing well because he's a giver. So what is your favorite foundation? What is your favorite charity, Magic?
You know, I like, it's so many of them. I mean, Cancer Society.
No, I tell you what, just figure out which one you want me to send 10,000 to. That's what I'm gonna do tonight.
Man, you all right with me? You all right with me?
See,
thank you.
You gave me a tip. That. I use it. Okay.
You know, I'll probably give it to a young person that's trying, especially a minority student who's trying to go to college, who have the grades to go, but just don't have the financial means to go. That's what I do with the money.
You pick that person, or we'll find that person, or whatever, however you want to do it. Okay?
There you go. There you go. We'll make it happen.
Okay, done. Okay, and so you gave me a great piece of advice. I'm like, let me use that as quickly as possible. Chason says, my 15-year-old son is asking, what advice do you have for him as a beginning entrepreneur? Where should he start?
No, first of all, I'm excited that you're starting at 15. Just think where I would have been at, or Grant would have been at, if we had started at 15. Where should you start? Just start small, you know, buy some stock or something small. You don't have to buy nothing big right now. Buy something small, start. I would say start with some stock. That's what I would say if I was giving you any advice. Now, I'm going to tell you a story right quick. This is for everybody. I'm 19 years old, just declared for the NBA draft. This hurt me even today. It hurts me telling you this story.
Oh my God.
So all the shoe companies come and offer me money, right? So Adidas offered me money and Converse offered me money. And then there was this guy who had all this hair who had just launched a company called Nike. And Phil Knight is his name. And he said, Magic, we just getting started. But I don't have the money that they have, but I can offer you stock. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
So to that 15-year-old that's listening, I'm glad you're going to know money early, because if I had been this Irvin Johnson back when I was 19, I would have took that stock. I grew up poor, I grew up broke, so I took the money instead of taking the stock. Oh, I'm still sick right now.
How much equity did they offer you?
Oh man, it was a lot, because remember, they had just started, so they were looking for guys like myself.
Yeah.
And check this out. That was 43 years ago. Wow. Can you imagine?
Billionaire just from that.
Yeah, that's what I call vitamin E. Get that equity, young man.
You're doing great, young man.
Yeah, he is.
Go for it.
Mr. Johnson, thank you so much. It's the first time I spent some time with you. It was great. This was even better. And I look forward to being a partner with you in a business one day.
I'm looking forward to that. Please tell your family hello. Remember, I met them backstage.
I will. My kids love you. They were so excited that I was spending time with you tonight. Thank you again so much.
All right. God bless you. And then we'll get the people to exchange our numbers. Get together.
Got it.
All right. God bless.
Thank you, Irvin. My friend Stormy. Coach Stormy, you here?
Yes, sir. I'm here. How are you, Mr. Cardone?
Stormy walked into my office about maybe 5 weeks ago. She said, hey, I want you to explain the money game to me. I sat down. You were in the office, what, about an hour and a half, something like that, Storm?
Yes.
Next thing you know, she wrote me a $5 million check to invest in my properties.
Our properties.
Our properties. That's they're ours now because you're my partner. I said, man, this is a bad woman right here. Like, not many people take action that quick. Hey, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so happy to have you here. Can you tell me, Stormy, tell everybody where you started? I know your story, but tell everybody.
I come from a very, very interesting background. My mother was a drug dealer. My mom migrated from Jamaica illegally. Wow. So I grew up watching my mom as a drug dealer. By the age of 7, I knew what a brick looked like. I found myself at 13 years old in the strip club, not because I was a fast girl, not because I was grown, but because at home my water was off. I went into the strip club, a friend invited me, and that's when I had my first experience with making money in the strip club. I had on a black suede skirt, I never forget, a white halter top, and a black suede vest that I had borrowed from one of my friends. And this man says, hey, lift up your skirt, I'll give you $600. My first thing that I remember was feeling humiliated. I felt disrespected. Who are you to tell me to lift up my skirt? What I look like $600 to see me? My water was off at home, and I had second thoughts. And ironically, my friend who took me to the club walked away. And so I was wandering around looking for the man because I was thinking, oh my God, how dumb of me. I need those $600. That was the day I lifted my skirt. I got those $600. And the next day I turned my water back on at home and I bought groceries for me and my brother to eat. My mom finally came home. And of course, here I am again, feeling like the cycle had broken. But then my mom had no other choice. She had to go back to selling drugs again. She got caught again. And so guess what? My mom was in jail again. I got pregnant at the age of 14, had my first child at the age of 15. He's now 24. His name is Peterson. I had him when I was 15 years old. I ended up having to go back into the strip clubs because I didn't know what to do. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I ended up going back to get a GED. But after I had given birth to my son, I had no choice but to find a way to make money. And so I was again in the strip club again. Again, I was never happy about the strip club, but I got to tell you, I learned about resilience and I learned about hustle. And I learned that you do not eat what you don't kill by being in the strip club. I remember as a little girl, praying for my mom that she would make it back. You watch your mom saran wrap her bricks, place it in her perm. You knew your mom was going on a plane to illegally traffic drugs. You were 7 years old. Imagine me going to school with that on my mind. Number one, is my mom going to come home this time? Then I knew as a young girl, I knew she was going to either collect money or sell drugs. So I always was afraid, was my mom going to come home alive? You understand?
Yeah, no, totally.
I had to go to school at 7 years old, worrying, is my mom going to come home alive? Grant, that's why I had to get wealthy. You're right, I'm not even who I'm going to be yet. I'm going to be a billionaire just like you. Yeah. I know it.
Yeah, I know you are too. So let me ask you this. Money, like you're talking about money. I hear you talk about money and I hear you talk about fear. What were you scared of? What was moving you then? And then how are you using that today to propel your moves?
Wow. Well, I believe that there's a fear that makes you stop and there's a fear that makes you go. I'm more driven by the fear that makes me go, because I realize that if I don't go get money, nobody's going to get money for me. If I don't go make a way for my family and we're not going to live an abundant life. And I believe that I deserve the best. And if I don't go get it for myself, there's nobody's going to give it to me. Nobody's going to give me the best that I deserve on a silver platter. I have to go out and get the best that I deserve. And so my fear of being broke, I'm more afraid of being broke than I am of rejection. I'm more afraid of being broke than I am of losing it all. Like, even when I think about the $5 million investment I made with you, I rather risk putting my $5 million in the bank than leaving it in the bank. Because these days the bank is not even safe. When I see too much money in the bank, Mr. Cardone, I go crazy, because I understand that the banks aren't safe and my money should be working for me. But there was a point in time where I was afraid of money, and I was afraid to let it go. My money was tight. I only wanted to pay a bill. That's it. Now I'm trying to find more ways to flip money. I still flip right now. I'm supposed to make an investment with you. And I told your team, I said, I want to do it so bad, but I'm about to buy $1 million. And I heard you talking about this. I'm about to buy $1 million worth of inventory. I'm going to take that $1 million worth of inventory. I'm going to flip that million into 3 to 4 million. Then I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Cardone, I'm ready for you again. But I got to flip the money. I'm not going to take the money and give it all to you, and it comes to me in pieces, even though it's long term. I'd rather take my money, go make $3 million with my $1 million, and come back and say, Mr. Cardone, what do we got now?
Well, hey, wait, we got to get something fixed right now. You got to quit calling me Mr. Cardone. You got to call me GC, okay? Because you like my sister. GC. My sister doesn't call me Mr. Cardone.
All right, well, let me tell you. Let me tell
you. If you call me Mr. Every time you call me Mr. Cardone from now, I'm gonna charge you $10,000. Okay, Grant. Check this out, Grant. Yeah. I gotta tell you something though, Grant. Watch this. This is something my people gotta learn. We gotta learn principles and honor. See, I was taught in my career that when you are in front of somebody that is ahead of you in life, you treat them with honor. You call them by their last name until given an opportunity and permission to call them otherwise when in front of people. We're in front of a big old audience right now. I don't want them to think that I think you're my equal. I'm not your equal, Grant. You understand? You are a billionaire. I'm learning from you. I respect you. So because I respect you, I called you Mr. Cardone until you gave me permission to call you Grant. See, I want my people to learn that. You know, money also has principles attached to it. And so thank you for allowing me to call you Grant. I feel better. But let me just say something, because, you know, I feel like in many ways, Stormy, you have, you know, when you say you're not my equal, I'm not your equal either. So like in many ways, you have so much wealth that I knew this would be better even than the other nights, because you have so much wealth that I have not experienced in my life. You know, to think that your 7-year-old son right now is the same age today that you were when your mom was doing her thing, and your son is not worried about you going to jail today.
No, my son is not.
And so look, you know, while we might not be equals, I'm not your equal either, and you have many things. While I might have more money. What's up, player? How you doing, my friend?
That's Uncle G.
That's right.
We're gonna fly his helicopter soon, okay?
Yeah.
He got 2 helicopters in one plane. He gonna let me and you go on it soon.
I'm putting you in the helicopter for sure.
Yeah, if I can.
He said he coming if he can.
Yeah, 1,000% for sure. So, you know, Stormy, I just want to say that, I've had 30 years of putting money together, right? So I've had longer than you have, but man, where you have come from, what you have done, and how you have taken experiences, and rather than them holding you down and trapping you and making you a victim of the system, and how so many people are marginalized today. And counted out and stigmatized, and look, what you've done with your life is a freaking American success story beyond all the stories I've ever heard. So how do you convert this fear? Is there something you're doing to convert fear that stops most people to using fear to push you and promote you and go?
Absolutely. It's the story that I tell myself. I have learned how to condition my mind. You know, successful people create conditions in their mind in order to succeed. I learned that in 2008, which basically, i.e. can also mean you are the story that you tell yourself in every circumstance. You know, I find that in my community, especially within Black women, we find significance in being a victim. So when we don't have something, or, oh, my baby daddy did this, and, oh, I'm sick, and, oh, I don't have an education, we find significance in being the victim and blaming other people. And so I listen for myself to learn. I don't listen to defend myself. So I'm always listening to what people are saying for me to gather information. As my great friend Elena Cardone this weekend said, some people have a deformation, which means that a deformation of the mind. I don't. My mind says, if one can do it, I can do it.
Hey, Dusan, if for some reason you'd lose everything today, where would you start?
Me personally, if I lost everything, I mean, first of all, I couldn't lose everything because I have investments. I get money from Cardone Capital every month, so I'll keep taking that. I'll take that money and I'll buy something to flip it. I believe in flipping things. I believe in finding tangible things that you can sell. And whatever those tangible things are, I make sure that they bring value to the marketplace. So I will always be in some type of sales. I will always find something to sell, then I will reinvest and bloom from there.
Yeah, so, you know, what she said right there, in case you guys missed it, is she can't go broke. And I would just tell everybody here, even if everybody took everything from her, she's still Stormy, and she's got all her experiences, and she survived the worst. So it's, at some point, you really can't go broke, Stormy. You have so much experience now, right? And so much spiritual belief in yourself. But
here's the trick. You got to reverse engineer. Go back to when they first started and learn from the tapes when they first started. Don't listen to what they're teaching you now. Like, I'm not teaching as much of what I did in the beginning because I'm not in the beginning, you know? But if you want to really learn what Stormy Wellington did, how she made her first 150, what she did to make her first million in I made my first $1 million from broke in 7 months. You could go to YouTube, and I don't even care what company you're in. Watch this. You could go watch my YouTube videos and apply what I did in my company and your company, and I'll earn the highest income earner in your company. I have a training called the Network Marketing Masterclass. I'm teaching all of what I've done to become a $1 million earner. And I made $1 million my first year in network marketing. I went broke, fell into a depression. My mom died August 26, 2011, Grant, and I was holding her hand. I went broke for 3.5 years. I was broke, fat, ugly, depressed, couldn't even afford a weave, okay? Had a child, got married. I'm talking about almost homeless, all right? And I got back into a network marketing company and boom, made my millions all over again from zero. I had to borrow the money to start in that company.
Stormy, I want to invite you. We're going to figure out how to have you at our growth conference. I want to have you speak there, and we'll have 40,000 people there, okay? Okay? I want to have you there.
Oh my God.
Because your story needs to be told, and more people that have been marginalized and that you know what I'm talking about need to have the limelight. Okay? I love you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I love you too. Thank you so much for everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Jordan Peterson, welcome to the $1 Million Challenge. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Cardone, and thanks for the invitation.
When did you start talking about this thing that, you know, the Peterson effect, if you will?
You see, what happened, I suppose, at Harvard with Maps of Meaning course, which was really my own course, I wrote the book for it, was that the typical student comment was at the end of the year that the course changed the way they looked at everything. And these were smart kids. They had lots of courses to choose from. And so, you know, and I don't want to take credit for that in some sense because I'd synthesized a lot of ideas that a lot of other people had worked very hard to generate for a very long time. So, but, you know, and I'm a psychologist. Some of these ideas hopefully are useful to people. That's the plan.
Yeah, so like when you took that information and you were sharing it, were you noticing that the students were having like just awarenesses from the way they were brought up? I mean, what is it you saw happening?
One of the things I learned as a neuroscientist was that all of our positive emotion, almost all of it, the kind of emotion that really makes you happy, is very tightly tied to forward movement. Okay, so that's the relationship between your consciousness, the emotion, and your body. It's like consciously you're aware of happiness, that's a positive emotion. It's mediated mostly by your left hemisphere, at least in right-handed people, and it's associated with movement forward. Well, movement forward towards what? Well, towards a goal. And whenever we're moving forward, whether we know it or not, we're moving towards a goal, confused or not confused, like diligently pursuing it or not, clear about what it is, it doesn't matter. And then without a goal, no positive emotion, none. Now there's the kind of satisfaction you can get after a good meal, but that's more like satiation. That's a different emotional set. Okay, so now think about what that means. What that means is that the more valuable the goal you're moving towards, the more positive emotion. And here's another issue. And the more integrated the framework within which you're pursuing that goal, the less anxiety and psychological pain.
What does that hierarchy of value mean to you?
Well, okay, think about it this way. So let's say I describe the hierarchy of value that I'm living within as a practicing scientist when I was a professor. Okay, now imagine I'm writing a paper. Okay, what am I actually doing? Well, I'm pushing keys with my fingers, right? That's what I'm actually doing. Okay, but I'm writing words and I'm writing phrases, sentences, paragraphs, essay. Why? Well, I'm publishing papers. Why? Well, I'm a scientist. Why? Because I think that will make the world a better place, and there's practical concerns as well. Why? Well, I'm trying to be a good person. Why? Well, there's something outside of that too. And all of that is nested, all of it, all the time.
So that I understand, because what I'm hearing you say is that this simple thing of goal setting, having a forward movement to an integrated, a goal integrated to my values. So like me getting rich, if I want to get rich, but I'm using drugs, I'm selling drugs, and
that's a bad idea.
That's not integrated, right? So
although there is a good anthropological study showing that drug sellers in Chicago were much more likely to be employed than their compatriots, and so
you know what's crazy is I did an event, and I find you fascinating, by the way you deliver things in a very it's very unique. So it's probably because you're so educated. But
sorry, it's because I'm Canadian.
maybe a combination. So, but he was the third largest cocaine dealer in the state of Florida, and he came to my conference called the 10X conference. And on the third day, he came up to my staff and said, "Tell Mr. Cardone that he 10X'd me this weekend." And they were like, "Well, what does that mean?" "I'm not going to be a drug dealer anymore. I cannot 10X." And this is, I think, what you're talking about, integrating your values with a forward movement of your goals. Are you telling me that people that are on a forward movement are going to be healthier, happier, and probably, would that affect their money or their ability to produce?
No, they'll stop doing stupid things that make them poor. We get in our own way all the time. And, one of the things I often counsel people, and this is like literally true in my clinical practice, is like, well, there's not much you can do about the world in some sense, because what the hell can you do unless you happen to be very powerful? And even then, it's not that straightforward. But you're a kind of a piece of work in yourself, and there's probably some stupid things you could stop doing that would make your life better. So why don't we start there? And that's what I generally recommend for everyone I talk to. So, there has to be something above the money, and you're aiming at that. You're trying to tell people, look, you don't know, you're not aware of this, but you've imposed a lot of limitations on your own success, and you should examine the reasons why. And they'd be unexamined and resentful assumptions about capitalism and business and about human potential and about the value of human beings and their own worth and all of that. And it's very complicated to sort that out, but it certainly can be done.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're going to help us simplify it, though. So, do you talked about potential, right? Do you think people are predetermined to be successsul?
Virtually anyone can make incremental steps to make themselves better, and it'll really work. It'll really work. So, we have different starting points. That's absolutely for sure. But the possibility that someone who's even suffering from a multitude of impairments can take appropriate psychological steps to make their life better. Like, I've worked with very impaired people who were really, they had more obstacles than you could possibly imagine. And it was still possible for them to, move ahead. And in forward movement is happiness by definition. So this isn't some sort of, fairy tale. And it's so cool that we feel positive emotion in relationship to a goal. So I'll tell you, cocaine, people love cocaine. Why? It activates the system that's activated when you're moving forward to a valued goal. And so it makes you feel pharmacologically like you're doing something important and valuable. And you're sort of charismatic and enthusiastic about it at the same time. It's fake, right?
Yeah.
But better have the real thing. It's much better to have the real thing. And that's also an excellent substitute for drug addiction. So
yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You recommend that you would write that prescription, right?
Well, look, there's a huge literature on alcoholism, for example, and the best cure for alcoholism, reliably, and this has been known for 5 decades, even among hard-nosed empirical researchers, is spiritual transformation, religious transformation. And that really means that you have to find something that you think is so important to do that it's better than drinking. And alcohol is a powerful spirit. So, you really, if you're inclined towards alcoholism, you really need something good to do to take place of that.
So somebody comes to you, let's say I come to you and I'm all wrecked. I'm that guy you just described, because I was that guy before, right? So what I come to you, you're going to give me what, 50 minutes or an hour or something, and I'm going to give you 200 Canadian. So what happens now? What happens? Where do we start?
Oh, well, the first thing I say is, well, why are you here? And then I listen. It's like, what's wrong with your life? I don't know what's wrong with your life. Tell me. And then maybe I listen for like 6 months.
Wow.
Because you're figuring it out. Well, you're telling me, and no one's ever listened to you, ever in your life, not once. And so I listen, and then you talk, and you straighten yourself out, because talking is thinking. And when I listen, I say, well, look, you just said this, and then 10 minutes ago you said this, and those two things seem to me to be in conflict, and maybe I misunderstood, but maybe you could clear that up for me, or I didn't understand that exactly, and it might be me because I'm not that bright, and so why don't you clear that up? And you find that your thinking gets clearer and your head gets straighter, and then we do things like, okay, you're not very happy. Well, why is that? Well, maybe you're sick, or maybe there's something wrong with you, or who knows? We don't know. We'll try to find out. Watch yourself like a hawk for the next 2 weeks. This is after someone trusts me, because I've listened to them for a long time. And if you really listen to people, they are so interesting, you just can't believe it. Let's figure out when you're really miserable and what you're thinking then, and when you're happy and what you're thinking then. And people come back and they say, well, someone just told me this week, someone I just had a casual conversation with, she was really striving to be an actress, but she also had this cleaning and catering business on the side. And what she discovered during COVID was that she actually liked cleaning and catering more than acting. And she didn't really realize that till she told me, because it's kind of shameful, right? It's like actress, hooray, and cleaning and catering. For a modern woman, it's like, how could you possibly love something that despicable? It's like, well, that is what she liked. So she doesn't know who she is, and neither do you. And neither do I. So you come and see me, and I say, well, let's just watch you and figure out when you're miserable and when you're not, and see what conclusions we can derive from that.
Jordan, thank you so much for being with us today. Okay, you've given us all a lot to think about. I love your viewpoint on aligning your values with a forward movement, and that will make people well. I really, really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for the invitation and for the forum and for all of your attention, and good luck to all of you. I hope you put yourselves together and everything turns out for you. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking your time to be here. I've looked forward to working with you for a long time, and I look forward to doing bigger things with you as well.
Yeah, same here, man. Thanks for having me on. I tuned in a little while ago. You get me fired up. I love your ideas. I love your concepts.
Let's start here, Chris. Like before we get into your story and everything, how important do you think having a wealth target is for either a company or a household?
I think it's important on two levels. First of all, it's human nature. We've got to have a target to shoot for. And then your goal should be to exceed your target.
So when it comes to the money game, and I know you're working with companies now, taking the skills you learned in the darkest spots on the planet, and then you're doing that now for corporations and companies. How important is this wealth target for a household?
And we do it for individuals too. I mean, like we probably very similar to you, we target high performers. We target people who want to get better, because working with somebody that knows that they need to work to get better, and that could be a lot of fun.
So when I'm going, like when you're negotiating with somebody, I mean, like, give me one of these scenes that you were in, one of these very interesting, compelling moments where you're negotiating with somebody. You're walking in to get what? To get intel? To get a name? A location?
Intel right off the bat. You know, intel in a gentle way, which catches them off guard in a good way, which makes them want to tell me more. Mm-hmm. You know, the feeling of giving me information, I got to get that feeling so it's satisfying for them. Now they start giving me information. I start getting a much better idea of what the possibilities are.
So like, tell me where, like, have you been in the Middle East negotiating some of these situations?
And in my previous life, I was in the Middle East quite a bit.
Okay, so let's say I'm in a room. I want you to paint the picture. I'm the guy being interrogated. I've been in this room. Am I hungry? Have I been like am I tired? Have I been stripped down? What's happened before you get there?
Yeah. Well, that may have happened to you before I show up. I would not have advised it. However, if the other members of my team sought to do that, the first thing I would do is sit down and say, "Can I get you a cup of coffee? Can I get you a glass of water? You know, what do you need in order to relax?" Because you're going to be caught off guard on that. With a bad guy, my first move is always, "Are you okay?" Because they're going to expect me to come in from a different approach, and then I'm not going to care about it. And in point of fact, no matter who is on the other side of the table, you should at least have some empathy, sympathy, compassion for them as human beings, regardless of who they are. So I'm going to demonstrate that.
Yeah. So I'm going to take that scene and I'm going to move it to a real estate deal. So I'm going in and be, "Hey guys, I want to be sure you guys are okay in this deal."
Yeah. Or, you know, a real estate deal, depending upon what the circumstances are for you, I may start out with something saying like, "Man, it seems like you're under a lot of pressure here." Because they likely are. You know, they expect me to want to use that pressure against them instead of actually recognizing that it's working on them. And I'm not there as an adversary. The adversary is a situation.
And your adversary is a situation.
An adversary is a situation. What does that mean?
The adversary is a situation.
Tell me.
Well, anybody that you're talking to, the reality of the situation is the two of you are faced with different aspects of the same problem. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately the best outcome is if the two of you collaborate. You're trying to buy a house, they're trying to sell a house. And a productive transaction is the challenge for both sides.
I knew I was going to love this, man. I knew I was going to love this, man. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm so happy right now. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it.
No, I'm glad to be on. You know, so the minute I move out of thinking of you as an adversary, I'm going to feel less threatened in the deal. I'm going to think better. I mean, this is all designed so that I think better. Now, subsequently, you are going to benefit secondarily from that. But I'm working on getting me into the best deal-making mindset, the best outcome mindset, surprising you with a better outcome, because the day's going to come when you're going to have the opportunity to do business with me again. I want you to remember that it ended up being better than you expected because you're going to want to come back. So, for example, and I used to use this all the time because, you know, we had Middle Eastern witnesses testifying in American courts voluntarily, not because of a hammer. So what's empathy for me? I look at a Islamic Arab from the Middle East, grew up in a culture, America is the enemy, you know, we're the bad guy. That's what they're taught early on. And I just say, you know, you believe there's been a succession of United States governments for the last 200 years that have been anti-Islam. And they would go, yeah. Now, I never said I agreed. I said, you believe. This is how you see the situation. And I never followed up, but that's not true.
Right.
I'm not afraid of your misconceptions. And I'll get them to go away much quicker if I simply acknowledge them fearlessly.
So you're acknowledging their reality rather than trying to create a new one. Exactly.
Which makes them open to a new perspective.
And then when do you move into what you want?
You know, we'll tee it up. We got one or two tools that we'll use. You know, the call to action, the ask. It's either going to be in the form of a how or what question. How do you want to proceed? What are the next steps? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, we got a really counterintuitive thing that we love. because it catches people off guard. Instead of proceeding with a yes, we'll proceed with a no. And I'll say something like, are you against me sharing some ideas with you? Because people feel safe and secure when they say no. They're either going to be more open to the word no, or they're going to be more open to the word yes. I'm prepared to go either way. We're finding a high percentage of good response from no, so I'll test the no response first, and I'll say, is this a ridiculous idea? Are you against me sharing some ideas with you? And then I'll wait to see how they respond.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, sure, dude. You got some ideas? I'd love to hear some ideas.
Or there may be, we also believe there's always a team on the other side. There are influencers that everybody relies on that might tank your deal. So if I say, are you against me sharing some ideas, that might smoke that out. They might say, no, I'm not against you sharing ideas, but here's who also has to be on board in order for me to make this work.
Okay, so walk me back through the process. I got a little lost right there. Walk me back through the process. Am I in the box in the Middle East right now, or the boardroom?
Both, because human beings. One of the things that I love about the Daniel Kahneman, who won the Nobel Prize in 2002, and some other psychologists, human beings, regardless of circumstances, tend to make their decisions based on the same types of factors. Whether they're a bad guy in a box who feels trapped, or there's somebody in a business deal who feels trapped by the circumstances. It's varying degrees of intensity, but human nature is pretty much the same as to how they figure stuff out.
What happens, Chris, when somebody loses their autonomy?
They will cause their own destruction, and they will act against their own best interests just to preserve their ability to keep their autonomy. I first realized Jim Camp wrote a book in 2002 called Start With No, and that was the whole essence of it. Just let people know that it's okay to say no, because it preserves their autonomy. And I was like, wow, this is why we have hostage negotiators, because we used to take away people's autonomy, and they would cause their own death just to prove that they still had control. And you see this in business deals all the time. People feel out of control, and then they talk to each other and go like, I'm going to blow up this deal.
Right.
And like, wait a minute, it's against your interest to blow this deal up. You're going to lose money. You will have wasted time. Your company's going to go bankrupt. You're going to lose your house. It's against your interest to do that. But when people feel trapped, it's a whole autonomy issue. So my plan is to get them to feel like they got autonomy with me anyway, which increases the chance they're going to collaborate.
What is the difference between negotiating and closing the deal?
Great question.
Is there a difference? Is there a difference for you?
For me, the close of the deal is maybe the midpoint in the negotiation. Because, yes is nothing without how. Yes is at its very best, yes is only an aspiration. And so you need to get into how right away. And how I got into the agreement will affect how smoothly how goes. Are they going to stick to the terms? What are they going to do when they run into problems? What are they going to do when their brother-in-law says this was a bad deal? Or somebody who's got no skin in the game other than jealousy starts whispering in their ear, because there's gonna be problems, So I need to set up. I don't need you scared when there are problems. I don't need you scared about getting back to me. Since there are gonna be problems. The only thing I hate about problems is getting blindsided by them. As soon as the other side's got a problem, I want to know right away, because we can start working on fixing it together.
Hey, let's do some more things together, man. I'm a big fan of yours. Okay, love what you're doing. I think it's so important that this skill is not taught in normal schools. I don't know what schools teach it. Do any of them teach it?
Only the ones that hire me to teach it.
Hey guys, follow my friend Chris Voss. Thank you, Chris, so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate your generosity and your intelligence and your experience, man.
Thanks, man. Love to package our stuff in with yours, however you want to do it. Love to have that conversation.
I'd love to have you do some other events with me.
All right. Thanks, Grant.
Okay,
thank you very
Chris.
much.
Okay. We're going through the biggest redistribution of wealth in the history of this planet. If you guys are going to play by your mama and daddy's rules, buy low, sell high, or you're, oh my God, the market's topping out, I can't buy it. You don't understand. There has been $7 trillion injected into the U.S. economy that did not exist 24 months ago. You got all this money sitting trapped doing nothing. It's not really doing nothing. It's just doing nothing for you. So what's an asset, okay? Cash accounts are assets, okay? Now, some people would say cash could actually be a liability. So anything that I write down here, I'm going to also ask you to look at, could cash actually be a liability for you? That's why I say cash is trash. Well, the other thing that can happen, and this is happening in a big way right now, is D could hit it. Depreciation. This is what Warren Buffett called the invisible tax. Cash is being devalued. See, when you save cash and assets start accelerating, your cash becomes trash. The thing that's valuable is that asset, okay? Real property would be an asset, okay? Intellectual property, okay? This, by the way, is a lot easier to get than intellectual property. I mean, I guess you could go to GoDaddy and get GrantCardone.com. I know a lot of you have tried to get GrantCardone.com, GrantCardone.com, GrantCardoneEnterprises.com and sell it back to me. But if I'm not a buyer, it's not an asset.
Yeah.
For something to be an asset, you got to have a buyer. Some people consider a house an asset. And I can see why you would do that. I could see why you think cars are assets. And it could be. Clothes could be assets. Furniture could be assets. Let's see, what else could be an asset? IP, investments in other partnerships, okay? I own 50% of Cardone Ventures.
Precious metals.
Precious metals could
Jewelry.
be. ETFs, mutual funds, a retirement account, life insurance policy. These could be assets. Your kids could be assets. But many of these things, by the way, could also become liabilities. What you guys got to do is decide what's a liability and what's not, okay? So let me just give you a list of some things that could be a liability. Okay? Could this house become a liability? To the degree that that house cannot be sold and or liquidated, it could be a liability. Cash can be a liability. I want you guys to understand this, right? If you can't get it and use it, okay, it can become a liability. Friends could become liabilities. A business at some point can become a liability. I want you to write this down. Assets, all assets at some point will become liabilities. See, when you're broke, you can't lose anything. You're really dangerous when you're broke. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about how never to be broke. There is a way, and the reason I took Undercover Billionaire was I knew the closer they got me to zero and the more pressure they put on me, the more likely I was to be able to hit my target. Listen to me. How would you like to wake up every day knowing you didn't need anything? No money and no time. And you could still create wealth. In a town where no one knew you. See, that's what I did on that show, and that was documented. There was cameras there every second of every day. There's nothing produced on that show. Nobody can ever take, no matter what anybody dogs me on. I'm like, hey, bro, go look what I did in 90 days. $5.5 million business, documented by a third party, complete production crew right there, no help, no contact with Jared, my team. Help me out, give me a lead, put a deal together. It was evaluated by a third party, and all this happened during COVID. So you like me or don't like me, this isn't about me. This is
receipts.
About receipts, baby. So look at your assets, look at your liabilities. Jared, let's just do this with Jared right now, okay? Let's look at Jared. Jared's 26 years old at the time, okay? He's negative 40,000. He doesn't really have a job. When I was 25 years old, I was just like Jared. $40,000 in debt, smoking weed every day. I didn't have the right people around me, man. Wouldn't listen to the people that wanted to help me, like I was a knucklehead, thought I knew everything. But Jared had something that I had. He had something in his stomach that says, I can do better than this. Did you have that at that time?
100%.
Desire. I got desire to do better. Now, that's not something you put on a financial statement. When you guys go to a bank, don't put on there desire. It's worth something, okay? But to get to the bank, you need desire, okay? So now, Jared was also willing to learn. It's not something you can put on your financial statement, but we had a lot of cleaning up to do here, okay? okay? So the first thing I told Jared to do, and for all of you out there that had debt, I'm gonna talk about debt here in a second, good debt and bad debt. Do not chase the debt down in the beginning. I know you want to catch up with it. O'Leary said, get rid of all that bad debt. Dude, I would not do that. You're playing defense. For Jared to go forward, Jared has to keep his attention on going forward. In football, many of you are watching football right now. You fumble the ball, you lose it, you give it to the other side. You don't try to fix that. Man, you go on defense, try to get the ball back, run your plays. So I would not tell you guys that you got 24% debt, and we'll do this in the Q&A. So this is what we did. We got Jared off the weed. And we got his focus. We got his focus on, hey man, what's your target? Okay, what's the target? And the target was, we looked at the assets, the new assets that he got by working for me. He could have gone and worked for himself. Being an entrepreneur is a desirable thing, right? So I said, look, man, let's make an asset list. I got a list of customers here, thousands of them that know me. Okay, these 1,000 customers, while they can't hit your net worth statement, they can fund your wealth. Okay, so you got to get clear on the target. What was your first target with me, Jared?
$250,000 a year in income.
Okay, $250,000. We got to clear that income target up. Oops. Okay.
40 apartments.
40 apartments.
And Mercedes-Benz S-Class.
And a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, okay? So first thing that happens, everything I do in my life is about a target. Are Elaine and I clear on the target? Is Sandy he clear on the target? If you're a spouse, it gets more complicated because everybody's got their own little agenda going on. So you guys got to sit down with the people in your life, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, brother, sister, whoever's hanging out with you, your kids, the 3-year-old, the 6-year-old. I'm telling you, you can't go too young on this and sit down and say, these are our targets. Okay? So Jared, should we put time on that 250? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We want to put a time, man. I got, 12 months to hit the 250. So I'm going to sit down with Jared and I'm going to say, okay, bro, this is what you got to do. First of all, in the state of California, you got to make 600 grand to walk away with 250. You got to make 600, okay? I want him thinking bigger than that 250 because he's going to come up short. 600K. Now, I have the money to pay you the 600K, but we need to produce at that time, Jared, what? You were making 10% or 20%? 10. You need to produce $6 million worth of contracts. $6 million worth of contracts. The average contract you're going to sell is $30,000. You need 200 contracts, 18 a month. Okay, that's 4.5 contracts a week. I think you need, Jared, to contact at least 45 people a day in order to get these 4.5. Okay, and Jared's like, okay, that's an asset. In the beginning, it's all in the head. Once Jared starts doing this and he produces 250 and finds out it's only 125, then the cash becomes an asset. So Jared does this. What do I do with this 125? Okay, I told you this on Monday. Do not change, and he never did. He dropped the Mercedes out for a while.
Yeah.
When did the Mercedes come?
I just got it recently.
10 years. Okay, he literally delayed the Mercedes for 10 years. And what we started doing in here, this is really, really important for everybody to know. When you're doing target attainment, you will never, ever have the right list of things. You will always come up short. Chris Voss talked about this as well. Okay? And so the 125, Jared's like, okay, I got cash. What do I do now? And I'm like, well, we needed cash right now, this 2012, needs to get multiplied. So Jared started making moves. Actually, back then it was probably 4X. And I happened to be investing in real estate, and Jared's like, hey, man, is this real estate stuff a good deal? I said, dude, look, I guarantee it. I mean, look what I'm doing every day. I said, I take all my cash, Jared, and I convert it to a real asset. So I take this that can be burnt, okay? It can be blown away. It can be stolen. It could be lost in a storm, to an emergency. It can be lent to mom and dad. Okay, you guys that are planning for emergencies, you know what you're planning for? You're planning for the thing. You're going to fund the emergency because you funded it in your head. Jared, I said, Jared, why don't we just go ahead and start funding these deals whether we have the deals or not? We'll start parking 125. Now, there's a funny thing that happened to Jared. Jared literally is like, how much of the 125 should I do? And what did I say?
All of it?
Every penny, bro. And see if you can call your dad and get 10 grand from your dad. All of it. There's a thing called a suck out, okay? Now, some of you are going to find this like, man, this is the worst advice you could ever give anybody, okay? I'm telling you, this is not about protecting money. This is about wealth creation. Just keep in mind that what the advice I'm giving you guys tonight is not how to be reckless. It is how to be extremely disciplined and how to parlay to wealth, not income. Jared has now substantiated he knows how to discipline himself to make income. What was your first year?
$89,000.
Second year?
242.
Third year?
314.
Fourth year?
404.
He knows, and he knows. How many of you don't even know what you made last year? He knows what he made the first 4 years with me. You're unconscious. You lose the target. You give up. You quit. You're getting beat up every day. You should know every single penny you make from every different source, and you should know that all the time. Because if you don't know, you can't control it. Okay? And these targets go away in your minds. They go away in my minds. What's the target? Me and the wife, what's the target? When we argue, it's because we lost track of our targets. If you guys want to come spend 3 days with me doing this, the way virtually, I'll deliver it to you, no travel. I don't want you to spend any time on a plane. That website is grantcardone.com/virtual. It's $297. I'm going to give you the 10X Super Life. That's a $1,000 program. And I'm going to give you our Marketing Mastery program because if nobody knows you, they can't give you money. They don't know you exist. I'm going to give you both of these, and I'm going to give you our 5-hour professional mastery, negotiating, and closing program. This is what you guys do. You guys watch this and you're like, okay, yeah, but what's this got to do with me? I need to get you into this workbook. I need to get you and your spouse, Todd and Gina, okay, I need to get Mike and Shelly into your workbook, into the exercises so we can go over your money, and you guys are sitting in your kitchen where you're comfortable, and I say, okay, open your checkbook. Okay, go to your Wells Fargo account right now, and I want you to pull up the last 90 days, what it costs you to live. That's your expenses. Good, I want you to tell me what was your drop in the last 90 days. Hey, we earned $30,000 in the last 90 days, and we spent 24. Good. Where's that $6,000 at? That's all I want to know. Good. Where are we going to do with that $6,000? I'm saving that. For what? For it to be worth $2,000? For your mama to come ask for it? You know, people don't ask people that don't have money for money. That's why I don't ever keep any money anymore. I learned this in 2012. If you got money, the bank will seize your assets. Okay, the people that sue will only come after people with money. They do not come after people with assets because you cannot liquidate assets that quick. So when you keep cash around, what happens is you're exposed to lawsuits, vulnerability, stealing, thievery, and help the family out, and you feel so bad, so you do. This is what happens to the ball player. Makes a bunch of money, and buys his mama a house. Busts his ass for 5 years, and then goes to his mom at the end of the 5 years, Mama, I got to sell the house. Because he couldn't keep it, because the income stopped, okay? So I want to show you guys where you can start parking money. Maybe you're not a real estate person and you don't want to invest in that asset. Well, what about buying a business? What about buying customers? I wouldn't go start a new business today. What I would do is take my cash and go find a business of some old guy that's tired of his business. He's already got 250 clients that go there. He branded the company, but he hates the business now. He's not servicing his client anymore. He spent millions of dollars of advertising in that location for long periods of time, and you just walk in and take the company over and blow it up. Those companies are all over America. We just got to figure out, we got to get you and the wife on the same page, you and the husband on the same page, because if you don't, you're just going to keep repeating this, I'm going to work, I'm going to save money. The website's grantcardone.com/virtual. Comes with this workbook, these 2 bonuses, Marketing Mastery, because if they don't know you, they won't flow you. And it comes with the 10X Super Life. And I added yesterday, Grant Cardone Money and Marketing Masterclass, because when you start making these moves, folks, you got to negotiate. Okay, when you start using debt correctly, you will be negotiating. The website's grantcardone.com/virtual. It's only $297. It's a $2,700 savings with a $2,500 bonus of the Money Marketing Mastery Program, and the 10X Rule autograph for you as long as supplies last. And it gets you set up now. So you're going to click the button. You're going to buy it, and then I'm going to deliver these 2 programs, and you're going to start doing the exercises I did with Jared. I'm going to be your coach for 21 days, and then 3 days in October 22nd, 23rd, 24th, I'm going to shoot you a link, and we are going to spend 3 days live. What is it, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes.
And we're going to go over this, your numbers, okay? Well, hey, Grant, Jared, you want to say something?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, like, the thing, can I actually write something on the board?
Yeah, sure.
Let me just write something on the board, because now you're talking about my story. I'm
wanna
going
cover
back.
yourself?
I'm just going back, and I'm thinking through, like, what happened. And so the first thing that happened for me, the very first thing, and you and I have talked about this before.
Every page is ready. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is that you and I were both financially motivated. Like, we were financially motivated, but I didn't know about money.
Mm-hmm.
And so the very first thing that I had to do was I had to figure the money thing out. And that is what you helped me with. I got proximity like these folks have right now in a way I didn't, because there wasn't social media with a bunch of people that were telling people how to go make money.
There was
social media was
just
starting, right? So once I got my head right about money and I started thinking bigger and I started having goals and I started reverse engineering the math to get to the income targets that I wanted to hit, the next thing that I had to do was I had to figure out how to sell. Like, I had to go acquire money. And whether you like this word or not, if you want to go out and get the things that you want in life, it requires that you go talk to people. And it's really not a difficult thing to do if you know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I knew how to talk to people, but I didn't know that there were exact steps that you could follow that literally made sales easy. It made selling something that was not this nasty, dirty, grindy fight, conflict. Like, it's like, do this, this, and this. Do you want to buy or not?
Yeah.
And doing that in volumes and getting better at it to where you could actually convert people. Then
that's that who's got your money.
Who's got my money? Then what we had to do is I started selling more and more, I realized that we needed to start promoting what we were doing as a company in a different way. And so we started tinkering with all this stuff with marketing. And that is the thing that actually started creating a lot more opportunities for us to go out into the marketplace and reach new people and then get new leads. And then we started, the acceleration of revenue started increasing a lot. We started leveraging these social platforms in ways that everybody said we were wrong to do, by the way. All of the experts, when we started doing this, were saying, Grant Cardone is the example of what not to do on social media. That's how bad it was, right? But we just kept pushing.
What have we spent in marketing in the last 10 years?
Probably $200 million.
Yeah.
A lot. So money started changing. Then I was like, I got to go get money.
Forced to go find out who. It's really a contact sport here. It's who can help replenish.
And it's really, again, it's a simple thing. It's not complicated.
No, it's not.
And then how do I amplify the message? How do I get to more people? You got to figure this marketing thing out. And then, again, my targets, because my targets were in line, I realized that sales and just marketing were not going to get me to the promised land. So we had to figure out this fourth thing called scaling. How do you start scaling your activities? We started having to hire people. We started having to build new departments. We started having to think about our products and our offers in a different way. We started to create new products. We started creating a lot of inventory so we could serve different types of people. And then we went from 15 employees to 30 employees to 45 employees to 60 employees. And this is the thing that we are continuing to play on now. So it's like, you're operating in first gear in a car with the money mindset, but you'll never grab second unless you learn how to sell. And then what you have to do in second gear, if you want to get the car to get moving even faster, is you have to figure the marketing game out. And then when you really want to start multiplying, and that's how I started getting $200,000 in new income every year.
This is where he gets elevated to be.
It started multiplying to where my income swung $1 million a year in 2 years because we figured out this piece. The scale piece. How do you start leveraging people around you? How do you start making, and really this is like what Brandon is teaching in Cardone Ventures is really this fourth and final component. And these exact four things, the things it took me 11 years to figure out, we're putting together in 3 days in our interactive boot camp. Literally all 3 days we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about money. We're going to be talking about sales, easy sales strategies that you can use to get in front of anybody and get them to say yes. And then we're going to tell you how to amplify your brand and your product so that every time somebody that even is a potential customer thinks about doing business, they're thinking about you. And then how do you scale yourself? How do you scale your own activities? Who's the first person that you hire? Like, if you're a solopreneur and you're feeling this grind out of like, I'm doing everything, like, how do I get out of this? You have to know the first person to hire. It matters. You have to know the third person to hire. It matters. And there's a systematic way that you do this. And we're going to be covering this all 3 days at the Interactive Bootcamp.
And we want you to be there, okay? We want you to be there.
GrantCardone.com/virtual.
And this week has been awesome, and it's been great. And I want to be sure we get some Q&A time, okay? Because along the way, this is a perfect example of what Jared's talking about. I'm going to bring scale down here, okay? This is 10X down here. You guys, some of you just think 10X is some kind of motivational mantra. It is not, okay? This is a physical manifestation of an idea. Hey, I want to make $1 million. Great. Once you make $1 million, I guarantee you, if you do this right, you'll use the $1 million to go sell $10 million worth of clients. When you do that, you will learn how to market to 100 million people, $100 million worth of clients. If you want to help $1 billion, if you want $1 billion, you got to go help 1 billion people. We've all heard this before, right? Well, the truth is, I'd rather 1 billion contacts than $1 billion. Now, I know that's hard for you guys to think with, but I know how to convert 1 billion people into $10 billion. The only people that wouldn't answer that correctly, oh, I'd take my $1 billion right now. And look, you offer me $1 billion, it's going to be hard for me to trade that for people.
100,000.
$100,000 or 100,000 people? What do you want? Qualified people, what do you want? Because once you make it in $1 billion, like, fuck it, I'm taking my $1 billion, I'm good, I'm out of here, okay? And I get it, right? But 100 grand, because $1 billion in net worth, your life, everything starts to change. Mm-hmm. Now things start happening that you didn't even think about. 100 grand or 100,000 people? Man, 100 grand is no money. Mm-hmm. I know if you're broke right now, if you're like, God, that's what 10 grand would change my life. You're wrong. I know you don't want to hear it, but you're wrong. It will not change your life. You're just going to get scared now. Now you're going to realize how broke you are. I give you 100 grand right now. All you're going to realize is, shit, man, there ain't much difference between me and somebody without money. Because now you start becoming the breadwinner. That's why so many people end up broke that make a little bit of money. Oh, you doing so good, Drake, you doing so good. Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. And the next thing you know, man, he don't have any money either. Because you're having to feed everybody, okay? See, I think, this is what I've always said, I think the selfish person is the middle class. I think most selfish people are the middle class. The wealthy did not settle. They're like, no, I'm gonna blow this thing up. I'm gonna blow the top off this bad boy so I can help a lot of people. I think the wealthiest people, some of them could be selfish, but I think the wealthiest people on the planet, the ones that don't stop, that keep going, 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, 10 billion. The big thinkers, they're like, man, I'm putting 10,000 people to work, 100,000 people to work. Those of you who settle for the car, the white picket fence, Jared could have stopped a long time ago, okay? He wouldn't be as valuable as he is. We wouldn't have the company we have, and he wouldn't have the investments he'd have. He'd have a little boat, a little house, and he'd be worried every second of every day. Yeah. He's putting himself and his family in a situation where, because we scaled, okay, now we went from 3 employees, I think across the board we have 700 between India, Arizona, the real estate, and right here in Miami, okay? We're helping a lot of families. We're not just thinking about ourselves anymore. So how do you do this, okay? First, okay, my money. What is my money target? Now, who's got my money? Who are the contacts? I talked about this in Undercover Billionaire. Qualified, able, and willing. If you would like to add 10 times the qualified, able, and willing, and know how to do that trick, go to grantcardone.com/virtual, grantcardone.com/virtual. I'm going to teach you how to get qualified, able, and willing people to want your products and services. Okay? Then we're going to show you how to market to those people. Folks, we have spent $200 million to sell $1.2 billion over the internet. I have to be in the top, not counting the Amazons and the Facebooks and the Googles, individual people to have produced that kind of revenue over the internet, selling products and services, webinars. Like I we've done extremely well. I'm so proud of what our team has done. We provide unbelievable products. We have sold out the largest stadiums in the world, most profitable events. Nobody questions that. They question whether it's 34,000 or 35,000 or 17,000 or 18,000, but they don't question they're profitable events, okay? In the world, no marketing company does what we do with our events. I'm saying that to say this. If I can sell a $20,000 seat online and nobody knew me 10 years ago, what can you do? When we started doing this, we did not have a Facebook account, an Instagram account, Clubhouse account, a LinkedIn account. I did not post a video on YouTube. I started playing this game when I was 51 years old. We've raised $700 million to buy $1.5 billion worth of real estate. It's the most money crowdfunded in the real estate space without a middleman. I got 5,000 investors, okay, that we send checks to every month. We'll send $3.2 million to our investors this month, $36 million this year without a bonus. If I hit my bonuses, if I hit what I think I'm going to be, probably going to be a bigger payday than that, probably 40 million. And so we're doing some great things here. Now, that don't help you. What helps you is me and you, the three of us. If your wife's involved or a partner, you got a CFO. Like for $297, you and your CFO can come to this deal. You don't have to both buy one. You want to both buy one and support me? Cool, but y'all can watch this thing together. And I would strongly advise that you and your wife or you and the team watch this together. Jared?
I mean, dude, there's no risk. If at the end of the 3 days you're like, oh man, that was terrible, that was horrible, I didn't learn anything, you know,
like
there's
how much?
There's 100% risk-free guarantee on
$297. I'm going to donate 100% of it to my foundation, the Grant Cardone Foundation. We'll help 30 kids, 29 kids. I'm exaggerating a little bit, 29.7 kids. Okay, we're going to find some 0.7 kids somewhere. I'm going to give you 3 days. Okay, for 3 days, I promise you, the only thing we'll be talking about is this: money mindset, exact targets. You got to figure out the target. I can't give it to you. Is it $1 million, 10 million, 100 million, or $1 billion? Let me just ask you this right now. Okay, what's your target? Your lifetime target, your 10-year target, and before the end of the year target. October, November, and December. I got 3 months. I got the same amount of time to work with you that I did on Undercover Billionaire. What is your 3-month target? Before the end of the year, what is your 10-year target? Let's do a 5-year target, a 10-year target, and then a lifetime target. You got to tell me what that target is. That's where everything starts. What's your target? What's your income target? What is your net worth target? If you tell me your net worth target is $100 million, I'm going to tell you, hey man, how you feel about debt? I don't like debt. Well, that's a problem because you ain't getting to $100 million without debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. In this book, we will go through with you and your spouse, each one of these, so you can start identifying, what are my assets? Who are my assets? Who are my clients? Which clients can buy from me and which ones do I not even want to call back ever again? Okay? What about your family members? Are they supporting your projects, your services, the book that you wrote? So we can show you how to scale the deal. You got to get there. And you got to fill the book out. I can't do that for you. We're going to give you like 5 minutes in an exercise. I'm literally going to hit a button, explain the information, hit a button. You're going to break into groups of 5, no more than 6 or 7 people in a group, right?
Usually 5 to 7.
5 to 7. And then we're going to come back from it and say, what'd you get out of that? What is your commitment? And then that group is going to hold you accountable, okay? So the website is grantcardone.com/virtual, grantcardone.com/virtual. This is a $2,900 account offer. It's probably worth, I don't know what it's worth. It's going to be worth millions of dollars.
There have been people that have already been to this boot camp, this virtual, the interactive boot camp, and they're posting in the comments. Like I've been seeing it all throughout the day today. They're like, this was an incredible event. It was the best money. It's a ridiculous offer.
And you guys that went before, you should come back again. You'll get more out of it than people going the first time. Nobody learns anything the first time, folks. Nobody learns it all the first time, okay? The best way to learn something is to reinforce it a second time, a third time, a fourth time. You don't pray one time. You do the act of contrition over and over, man, if you want to be resolved of your sins, okay?
I have exorcised the demons.
Okay, so it's $29.97. We're going to take this last week. You just had 6 days, 7 days with me, okay? We're going to take this and package it and sell it in the future for $19.97. I'm inviting you to come spend 3 days with me for $2.97. Money back guarantee. If you're not happy with it, at the end of it, just say, man, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. I didn't know Grant was going to help me this much. I didn't know he was going to force me to look at my income, my net worth, my assets. I didn't know he's going to make me sit down and work understand the difference between net worth and income. I did not know he was going to do that. I did not know he was going to explain to me the difference between good debt and bad debt. I did not know he was going to make me list out my bad debt and then be held accountable and responsible for it. Because Grant put me on the freaking point, I want my money back. And we just send your money back and everything's cool, okay? All right, real quick. The website's grantcardone.com/virtual, and I want to be your coach. Listen to me. I want to help you with this, okay? A few more minutes, and then I'm going to go to Q&A. Good debt and bad debt. I just said this seconds ago. I was plagued, not by bad debt. I started my journey with $40,000 worth of debt. $40,000. In 2010, I had $52 million worth of debt, okay? I had $40,000 worth of bad debt when I started the game. I had $52 million worth of good debt in 2012, and this is what I found out. For this debt to be really good, it needs to be really big. If you want to play the debt game, folks, it's got to be big, okay? Like if you want freedom on this planet, you got to get some debt. Debt is like you're almost playing a game with the devil here. Okay, there's bad debt. The debt is I'm gonna go put some money on a credit card to buy a watch. Well, that's just stupid. That's not even bad debt. That's just stupid debt. I'm gonna go buy a fleet of trucks. I'm gonna borrow money. I'm gonna go buy 12 trucks, and I'm gonna pay 3%. The trucks are gonna cost me $600,000. Okay, I'm going to write off the entire $600,000, bang, this year. We made $6 million net. Okay, the $600,000 worth of trucks is going to help me get the $60 million. I'm scaling now. I'm going to take the $600,000, I'm going to write it off my income. I'm going to reduce my tax bill to nothing because I'm going to accelerate the depreciation on the trucks. And I'm going to write off the 4% interest on the $600,000 worth of truck because I'm not going to put any money down. I'm going to pay $24,000 worth of interest, all of which will be written off as an expense in totality. And I'm going to take the new income because of the trucks, and I'm going to lease a car because I'm the executive of the company. I'm not going to buy a car. It's stupid to buy a car. I'm going to lease a car for 24 months, and I'm going to put it on the company's name. I'm going to write that off. I got you figured out, boy, because I read the code. Now, if you guys don't want to read the entire IRS code, all you got to do is study people that have made some moves. In 2012, when I owed $52 million to the banks called and called my loan. And I went to my wife and I said, this will never happen to me again. She's like, what are you going to do different next time? I said, the next time, they're going to come to me and I'm going to owe $2 billion. Because if I owed $2 billion, not $50 million, they wouldn't be coming to me. Because everybody knows nobody's got $2 billion sitting around. Okay? So the banks now would become obligated to me. The point of the story is, and this is what Jared was talking about, first you got to have a goal. If the goals are too small, you will quit on the goals. And the only reason the goals are too small is because you don't know the contacts. That's exactly what Jared was saying. It starts mental, man. Everybody says this. It's the mindset. If you don't have a 10 million, 100 million, billion-dollar mindset, don't get this program. If you want a $100 million mindset or a $1 billion mindset, if you want the idea of freedom, not because you want cars, but because you want to take care of the people in your life. You want to take care of your community. Maybe you want to be the hero to your mother. You want to be your dad's hero. You want to do what your dad never got time to do. Maybe you want to break the cycle of this terrible cycle of poverty and scarcity we have in this country. If you want to be the person then we got to change your mindset. I got to show you that there is $1 billion with your name on it. Annie is my personal assistant. If Annie wanted to put the plan together, okay, Grant, I work for Grant right now. I don't know what we pay her, but it's probably not enough. Okay? And as we pay her more money, she's just going to get taxed more. And all of a sudden, she's going to be like, oh, whoa, that doesn't feel good. I'm working harder, I'm making more, and I end up actually with less, okay? So if she put her mind to it right now and said, I want to become a billionaire, she does not need to go work for somebody else to do that. In fact, that's just going to be a go backwards. She's going to get the go backwards card on that. Okay, now I got to go out. Now I don't have my base. Like you guys out there that think a job is just over broke, no, you just over stupid is what you are. Okay, study the people that got rich. Most of them did not start their own company. Paul Allen owns one of the biggest yachts, owned one of the biggest yachts on the planet, and he was the second man to Bill Gates at Microsoft. Jared's going to be rich as shit. He don't have to be the number one guy, or maybe he will be the number one guy when number one guy ain't here anymore. Okay, if he creates enough value, he will be. So it starts with a mindset. Then it starts with who. If you don't like the sales word, who's got my $1 billion? It's not like it's not on this planet. We just printed 7 trillion. So can you get it? Is it out there? Is it available? You guys, most of you guys, what you guys do, what's my idea? What's my product? My idea is this. I don't go to the manufacturing idea. That's you guys. I got an idea that's going to save the world. Good. I got an idea, and it's me becoming a billionaire. That's been my idea. And I'm going to take any route I can get there that's legal, legitimate, and within my ethical boundaries. Because my job is to create financial freedom for my household and be able to go to Portugal when I want. To be able to go down to Panama when I want, if I want to go get some real stem cells.
Hawaii.
Maybe I want to go to Hawaii and be with the coconut trees. Because look, it ain't a vacation without some sand and some coconut trees and some good old rum. And it's definitely not a vacation if you don't have friends with you. Who wants to be on a yacht by themselves? Okay? So mindset, number one, man, we got to get you guys thinking rich, and to do that, we got to undo, it's right here in this book, okay? You'll get the book. You're going to hear it in the 10X Super Life. We're going to get you ready in the exercise. We got to get you through the portion of your mind that is dealing in scarcity and poverty. And I'm not talking about you guys that don't have any money. I'm talking about you guys that have money in a savings account. You are inflicted with poverty and scarcity. That's why you save money, and you don't even know it. You think you're saving. You think you're disciplined. You're not disciplined. You're scared. You're waiting for an emergency that will never happen, that money can't even solve. The only thing that can solve your problems is who. Who can help me today when I go to Dubai if I'm in trouble? Who can help me if I'm in Singapore? Money can't help you in Singapore, man. You ain't got enough money when you go to Dubai to get anybody's attention. Okay? Who can help me when I go to Pueblo and I'm nobody and I can't use my social media and I can't use my name and I can't show my credit card? Who can help me?
I know who can help you.
Huh?
I know who can help you. D's skills. That's who can help you.
Jared said D skills in this book. Okay? GrantCardone.com/virtual. It's not a book you read, by the way. This is a manual that we get you through. We're literally going to work with you and your family to create your financial plan. The 10X plan. Okay? Third thing you got to do. Once we know who, now I got to figure out, how do I market myself? How do I build my brand? That's what I hear everybody talking about today, the big topic. How do I build a brand, man? How do I build a brand? I'm going to go to Q&A right here in a second. Okay. How do I build a brand? Dude, I ain't building a brand. I'm building a life. This ain't a Grant. Grant Cardone ain't a brand. Grant Cardone is a life. I got a life, and people say, dude, look the way that guy's living. Okay, Johnny, show him the shot we took yesterday. That sick shot, Johnny. Okay, all right? Because I got 7 videographers. Okay, look at that thing. 2 pieces of equipment, 3 pieces of equipment. Many of our VIPs here that do all the projects with me. Thank you guys. You guys that always support me, always come to my programs. We put you up in my helicopters, put you on my jet. Man, I love doing that for you guys because you supported me, right? Who helped me get where I'm at? That Forbes calls the #1 social media marketer in the world. Who got me where I'm at? I didn't do this by myself. There's no such thing as a self-made anything. You need people. That's why you got to learn how to communicate with people, pitch people, talk to people. What do I offer them? What is my inventory? When you start offering people inventory, you guys that are doing e-commerce, how many offers do you have? What do they start at? Hey, how many of you have an offer? Let me just challenge you. When you're marketing, by the way, your inventory is a marketing. You think marketing starts with what you're going to post on Facebook. No, it's not. It starts with your inventory. What's on your inventory? What do you have to market? First thing you should have to market is giving people something. Okay? Ty Lopez did a great job of this, of giving iPads. He built a list like that. We built a list. Part of our inventory, I'll just show you what we did on this. 150,000 people registered, 149,000 people registered for this. 14,000 people showed up for this. Let's say 1,400 people take advantage of our offer. Okay? That's maybe the simple math on the deal. This list right here, I'm going to go back, that did not buy from me. 135,000 people is how I'm going to make all the money on this program. It's not these people that pay me $297. For 7 days of information, I brought Magic Johnson, Chris Voss, Todd Peterson, Stormy Wellington, Sharon Lechter, and Kevin O'Leary to you. You can't pay them. You can't pay them anything to go spend time with you. And they did this week. Hopefully you guys got all that. Okay, check this out. This is not where the money at. You see this right here? These people that missed this, we're going to put this whole week together and I'm going to sell it to them for $1,997. Marketing starts with your inventory of offers. Okay, first there should be a free offer, maybe a give money to offer, then a free offer. So when I go down this line, and this is money, a money to them, then a free, okay, then a 69, a 269, a 999. It could be any of this, 1999 and $10,000. It could be $1 million. We have people that give us $5 million. We have companies that give us 20% of their growth, their top line growth as a partner. So that could become worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This is your inventory layout, okay? Me telling you about mine doesn't help you though. Okay, I'm gonna go here to page on the scaling, rapid scaling formula, page 92, and we're gonna get to this and we're gonna lay out your inventory, your scaling, your timeline, and exactly what you would have to do, the funds it would take, the people that it would take, and the positions for you to go from zero to wherever you wanna go, with whatever your product or service is. Look, today it's easier than ever because of the social media, okay? Fourth thing we gotta do is this. We gotta scale. And most people just never figure out the scale. Why? Okay, they start a small business, 32 million small businesses in America. I think like 80% of them have no employees. They got a company, they got an idea, everybody's got an idea, and they never scaled it. Why? Because they got scared. Remember the rubber band yesterday I showed you? I said, stretch this, everything's cool. Let it go, what happens? See, when you guys leave here, I give you all this information, and you're like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and snap. Tonight, you go back to being that little piece of rubber, that small thing. You shrink back. So, why are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do this? How are you gonna do this? I wanted to open up the Q&A. And then before we leave tonight, I want to share with you the financial steps that I take every day. I want to ask my VIPs and my Clubhouse friends, what is it you don't know, need to know to make a decision and be part of this? What is it I've gone over maybe that you don't understand? Jared, how can we feed these questions to me?
Yeah, so I'll just start reading them out to you.
Okay, good.
Okay, so if you guys have questions for GC, then go ahead and ask them. Ashok says, hey, GC, my debt's $420K mortgage for our home, which is 1.2 value now. I'm in my 50s, can't think of selling my house. We make about $100K through our education business. I like to see what could be a realistic income goal for us, and is it advisable to make use of the equity to buy real estate?
Okay, so he's got $420,000 worth of equity. He's 50 years old. I was 51 years old when I sold my house. Like I had a baby on the way. I had every reason not to sell my house. Everybody thought I was the best, coolest dude in town because everybody had their barbecues at the house. These are emotional things. This is what Kevin O'Leary said. Don't be emotional when it comes to money or investments. Don't get emotional. If you're going to be emotional, get a dog. By the way, I wouldn't suggest you get a dog because the dogs cost money. Okay, so he's 50 years old. He's got $420,000 worth of equity. What I got, what's his name? Ashcock?
Ashok.
Ashok. Dude, we got to get you thinking about $40 million. Would you sell your house if we could build a $40 million business? Is he online? Can you hear me?
He's on chat, so I'm sure he's nodding his head yes right now. Yes, I would do that.
Yeah, okay, good. So, see, it starts with the target. You're not going to do anything, bro, to go from 400 to 600. Because the punishment's too much. You're like, I'm going to sell my house to go from 400 to 600. My life didn't change. Mm-hmm. This is why when Jared got on the train, the 10X train, we just keep talking about, bro, what would change our lives? You guys got to remember, man, some of you that are just seeing me for the first time, like 12 years ago, nobody knew my name. Nobody. I couldn't get a book deal. Okay? I could not get the book, the 10X rule. I could not get a book deal. I had to self-publish my first 2 books. Today, we put 30,000 people in a stadium in 90 days. So, like, why? How do we do that? We scaled to do that. How did you scale to do that? I scaled to do that because we wanted it so bad. And we were willing to risk it. You know? My friend Brad says, you got to risk it for the biscuit. So we just got to figure out, bro, where are you going? You want to go to 40 million? I got to get you and your spouse on the same page to say, we could take that $420,000 worth of equity. I wouldn't go buy real estate with it first. I would talk about leveraging it into your business, how we could scale your business up. So your business, what's his business making? Did he say?
$100,000 a year.
Okay. We got to get your business making $1 million in net a year.
You want to maybe break down for them the flow of the sequence of investing? Like there's three steps to investing.
Yeah. So
and most people get this wrong.
Yeah. Like until you created some passive income for yourself that's dependable, repeatable, and recurring. This is what it needs to be. It's got to be dependable. It's got to be indestructible. It's got to be recurring and repeatably recurring, meaning I can depend on it to recur, right? The first step is to make sure that you can save some bucket of money. I don't know, whatever the target is. $1,000 is not it. Could be $10,000, $25,000, $100,000. I know Johnny's got a bunch of cash sitting in the wall of his house. He's already proven he can save money. He does not live beyond his means. He knows how to hoard. He's got hoarding figured out. Right, Johnny? Sure do. While Johnny hoards, okay, and the rats are in the wall and the termites are eating away at his hundreds, it could have been growing. I've been telling him for years now. Okay, so what do you invest in first? They got $100,000 and $400,000 worth of equity, and I'm going to ask him, does he have discipline? Yes, I got discipline. Good. In the exercise, he's disciplined. Is his spouse on the same board? Good. And what's the game, man? What's the game? Let's say he says, I want to build a $4 million business a year. I'm at $100,000 a year. I want to build, is that what he's at, 100 grand?
Yeah.
I'm going to build a $4 million business. Other people have done it. I know I can do it. Great. We're going to take this 100 grand and with the 400 grand, and we're going to invest all of it in him first. Number one, him. We got to get him confident, man. I got to get you believing you can do this, bro. You can do this, man. Okay? Everybody's like, I'm going to take care of my mama. That ain't nothing, man. God damn, you're supposed to take care of your mama. Your big proud moment in his life, taking care of your mama. How about taking care of the whole neighborhood? Like, I took care of mama. I took care of my kid. My kid got sick. I took care of him. We went on a vacation. That ain't a fucking dream. God damn. Y'all got to think bigger than that. Like, how about taking your whole company on a vacation? Okay, number one, it's got to be you. We got to get this mindset right, man. We got to scrub out whatever you got going on that's negative. I told Jared when he came on, I said, I'm gonna teach you stuff that your daddy could not teach you. Sometimes you just can't learn from your parents anymore. And sometimes you don't want to learn from them anymore. Okay, so number one. Number two, we want to invest in your business. I don't want you to invest in my real estate. I have people call me every day, man, I want to put some money in your real estate. Dude, you need to invest in you and your business first, not my shit, my stuff. Third thing you should invest in is a real passive income situation. Indestructible. Everything that I said earlier, indestructible, repeatedly recurring. Indestructible. And that by definition is these properties that I buy. Go ahead, Jerry.
And the thing that people do incorrectly is they bounce too soon off these. So they go to a workshop and then they're like, okay, I invested in myself. Now I'm going to invest in this next business. The truth is that you have to continue to invest in yourself until you see a change. Because it may not be the first thing that you come to, or the third thing that you go to, or the fifth thing that you come to, or even the 20th thing that you come to. It could be the 21st thing. And so it's important that you continue to invest in yourself until you get to the point where you see a change in your income, and that's when you start scaling down through this ladder. Then you start pouring on investing in your business because you've developed skills that can go out and predictably grow your business.
Yeah, and Sylvia just asked Jared, hey, are the recordings part of the deal? So for you guys, you want to do that?
For anybody who, yeah, we can do that.
Tell you, anybody that takes advantage of the offer, the grantcardone.com/virtual, I'm going to include the entire week, because right now what Jared's saying is exactly what Magic Johnson said the other day. When everybody else was going to play with the athletes, he invested in himself and went with the owners. See, but again, guys, this goes back to the who. Magic Johnson is not a salesman. Truth is, I'm not really a salesman. I am a driven individual. Mm-hmm. Me and Magic have one thing in common. We were driven to create wealth, yacht wealth. He talked about it. And everybody loved that he said it. He said it humbly, man. Man, Grant, I love going out on a yacht for a month at a time.
30 years we've been going for a
30
month.
years he's been going on the yacht life. Why? Because you taste it once and you're ruined for life. And he's ruined in a good way, and you guys should be ruined in a good way. Okay? So, see, Magic's never been selling anything. Magic's, who do I need to know? Where do I need to be? Do I need to pay for the charity? Do I need to pay to get in? He said that. That's what you guys need to do.
Yeah.
This is what he said. Okay? Basketball player that had to transition over. Everybody knows him right now. Why? You don't know him because of basketball. Most of you are too young. Most of you know him because of Starbucks, his play at Starbucks. What else did he do? His play.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers. You know him because he's still relevant. Had he just ended his career with basketball only, many of you would not know him. I wouldn't have brought him on stage just because he's a basketball player. Okay? So let's do this, Jared. Everybody that takes advantage of the $297, Grant Cardone or above, there's two other offers, I think one at $497 and one at $1497. Mm-hmm. Whatever offer you take advantage of, I'm just going to give you that, the $297.
The recordings both
from
of the
week.
Courses here, the negotiating and closing class. So if you've invested, you get access to all the bonuses that we've talked about.
Zoom user says to everyone with no name, dude, first thing we got to do is you can never beat a Zoom user, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're making a major mistake in your marketing. Okay, I have $15,000 in cash, was going to look for a partner to start with 16 units. Your thoughts? Yes, that's a great idea. How he could play the game is he'd take 15, multiply times 10, now he's got 150. Or he could take 15, walk up to a guy, I'll show you exactly how to make this play. Take his 15, walk up to a guy like me, hey man, I got 15, I found a property, I got 15, I got a bicycle paid for, I got a motorcycle that's paid for, I got a pair of tennis shoes, Nike shoes I've never used that are worth about $600, and I'll give it all. I'll sweat equity the deal, be the manager. I'll work every day for nothing, and would you put the $2 million in? I'll do the rest of the work. And he would be sweat equity on a deal. We'll talk about that in our interactive boot camp. It's grantcardone.com.
And how your first partner made $10 million doing that.
Yeah, the first guy I did deals with made about $12 million actually as the sweat equity in my deals because I needed a partner. I had the money, I had the credit, I had the interest, I was qualified, willing, and able. I just didn't have the time to manage the property. Everybody needs a partner, by the way. Rich people need partners. I only have so much time, right? Okay, Magic said, this is from DT Ambassador. Magic said, and I want to hear from some of the Clubhouse people because I can hear them.
Okay.
Magic said, find people smarter than you. He also said this, find people richer than you. And then he said, find people with yachts and planes that you want to be like. Okay? Let me ask, any of my friends on Clubhouse got a question here? Let me get a random question.
Oh, because they got it over there on the phone.
There, take it out.
Okay. Let me see while I'm looking, while you guys come up with something.
Hey, Grant, I'll come up with a question for you, boss.
Go ahead.
Yeah, David Hill here. So, a lot of people know, Grant, what they should be doing. Like, they set a goal, and they know they should be doing it. And they plan to do it, yet they don't do it. What do you think is the thing that gets in the way of people not doing what they know they should be doing?
Two things. The question is, thank you, David. Two things, okay? People that don't do what they know they should be doing, number one, you have too much information. You have confusing, conflicting data. It paralyzes people. Most of you have too many coaches and listen to too many people. When I go into some of these rooms and I hear stuff that conflicts with what I know to be true, I just end it. Like, I don't listen to it. I never listen to any of it. Like, some people think, hey, man, you're kind of closed-minded. Yeah, I am kind of closed-minded to bullshit and ignorance and stupidity and scarcity and poverty and limitations and ignoramuses that think they know everything. So I'm very selective about what I hear. Number two, accountability, man. David, you need somebody to say, hey, bro, you said you were going to do this. I got it written down. There's 5 of us in the group that heard the same thing. This is why masterminds are so important. Sitting with 5 people in a meeting, me, Jared, Brandon, Sherry, my wife, and we're like, this is what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden, each of the parties goes about their way and doesn't do what they said they were going to do. Come on, man. Bro, you said you were going to do X. You said we were going to hit target. We didn't hit targets. Yeah, well, this happened, that happened. That's bullshit. We said we were going to do this. We are going to do this. So, like, the thing that people, I think, find, thank you, David, that was a great question. The thing I think people ask me probably the most is, how do you stay so motivated, man? Like, bro, because I got targets, son. And I'm being held accountable by my public persona. Right? So I have a target, and then I tell everybody, I'm going to knock out $1 billion worth of deals before the end of the year. Some of you saw the Lewis House interview I did, where Lewis said, why don't you do, what are you doing, Grant? I said, I don't know, I'm doing like $90 million deals. And he's like, why don't you do 10 times that? I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good question, bro. You know, let me get that handled. Let me get that shit handled. Thank you, Lewis. And next thing you know, I cracked a $900 million deal. You cannot find it if you ain't looking for it, folks. Okay, write this down. You put the target down. You write the target down, okay, and you reinforce the target. And then what you do is you back up the target with money. And I mean money you don't have. Every guy that I know a friend of mine named Bob, he cracked $4.4 billion in a sale. He walked away with 4.4 in his pocketos. I saw it. I know it's real. I know it's true, okay? I said, Bob, how far did you go to get it? He's like, look, I had a target, okay? I reinforced it every single day, and I had $25 million worth of cash and debt on the line. If it didn't work, I'd have got wiped out. Every guy I know says this. Tesla, the Tesla boy, he went all in, man, everything, every single penny. See, what do you guys do? Y'all listen to the financial planner that says, you need to have an emergency account, okay? I remember they asked Stallone what he thought about Plan A and Plan B. Was it Arnold or it was Stallone, right? Not Arnold. What happened to Arnold anyway?
I don't know, man.
Man, what happened to that guy? Okay. Creatine got to his mind. He went from Terminator
to They were more than
hater.
creatine to get those muscles.
He went from Terminator to freedom hater, man. Okay? So Stallone said, man, I don't have Plan B, man. I got a Plan A. Plan B is a way to make sense of plan to bail out on Plan A. It might have been Schwarzenegger. I got to give him credit for this one. Then something went wrong. Something went wrong. So what I'm saying to you is, you guys got to reinforce your targets with time and money. Okay, October 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Put it on your calendar. Oh, I'm not available on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Okay, well, I am. I'm available. A lady asked me last night, she's like, I'll do your event, but can I come meet with you in person? Sure. Come at 6 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. You can come hang out at my place. I got to work. Okay, well, you're not committed. You want to do this with me? You want to be in person with me for 3 days? Get here at 6 in the morning. You come to my house, bring me a cup of coffee, help me get dressed, you shower me, wash me up, okay? Feed me, take me to the event, hang out with me every day, okay? Every time I need something, you come hug me out, hug it out with me, do whatever, and then all the way to 9. She's like, I got a job, Grant, I can't do that. I said, well, then you're not committed. You want to come do an in-person, anybody that wants to come wash me, towel me off, feed me, take care of me, love me, man, this thing's going to get bombed now. I'll do that shit. I want to shadow you. Okay? All right? So check it out. October 22nd, 23rd, 24th. But you can't do those dates until you get this material. Hit the link. I'm going to immediately send you 10X Super Life. Then I'm going to send you the Marketing Mastery Program. And then I'm going to send you Closing and Mastery. It's a 5-hour program. I need you to spend 5 hours on that program, get through the material.
It's wizardry, this negotiating course. The negotiating course is worth 10 grand all day long.
All day.
Like, without a second thought. It's
you can buy it on my
literally
website.
wizardry.
You can buy it on my website for $2,500. It's worth $10 million. I'm telling you, like, it's brilliant. And you get to keep these programs forever. And then join me October 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'm just trying to make this impossible for you guys to say no to.
And if at the end they think it's garbage and it was worth nothing and they learned nothing, we'll give you a money-back guarantee, and he's still going to donate the money to the charity.
Yeah. So I know there's some of you out there uncertain because you gave up on the dream. I know that. I know you guys did. And if you're by yourself and you believe in the dream, I'll bet you money that your spouse has given up on the dream. It's very, very difficult to find two people together that both believe in the dream, the same dream. Because most people will be happy with a picket fence and a couple of beautiful kids and a couple cars paid for. That ain't what this is, folks. If you want to be comfortable, that program is not this program. This program is about wealth attainment. It is about mega financial freedom. It is about FU money. It is about go where you want, do what you want. It's about, hey, I don't give a shit what we spent to fly across the country. Okay? Right now, a lot of people are getting their shit in order. And there's a lot of people getting their asses handed to them. They're being forced to do things right now at rates we have never seen in the history of this country. People are being forced to do things. And if they don't do it, they got to take their kids out of school. If they don't do it, they're going to lose their jobs. If they don't do it, they got to go into a different room. Man, this is a different place right now. I got a friend, she is being segregated. She's been working in the same field for 17 years. And for the first time in 17 years, she is being segregated to a different, you don't have to do it, but we have to put you in this room over here, away from everyone else. That is weird. Now, if she had 10 or 15 or 20 million bucks put away, if she had 30,000 bucks a month coming in from passive income from, I don't know, real estate or a business or intellectual property or who knows. I mean, there's a million ways to get it. She'd probably be like, you know what? Hey, man, you know what? This is time for me to go.
Peace.
Peace. You know, do you want to know if I got it? Yeah.
Bang.
There, I got it. Peace out. Okay, I'm over. All right, over you. All right,
Peace.
Okay. Grant, how do we study billionaires, the most successful people in companies like you advise to learn this money game and how to win, avoiding taxes? Okay, again, like guys, you guys got to come up with a tax plan, man. How do you reduce your tax bill to zero? Your biggest expense in business, your biggest expense at the household level is your taxes. How do you get rid of that? Through asset purchases. You got to buy assets. You got to get your income goal to zero or $1 and make sure your passive income explodes to take care of your lifestyle. People, you don't have to be brilliant to do this, but you do need to know the strategy, okay? Scaling, okay? Grant, I'm working on scaling right now. Michael's working on scaling. To scale, you gotta have somebody hold your hand. Because here's the problem with scaling. One of the most often used words on the internet, okay? To scale. Scaling is a multiplier, right? So what are you gonna scale? You're gonna scale people, you're going to scale advertising, you're going to scale your customers, and you're going to scale your inventory or services or service deliveries. So if I'm going to scale people, guess what they cost? In Miami, somebody needs to probably make $80,000, just $80,000 a person. We have 169 employees here at this one location. So just do the math. What is that? It's $13.5 million. Is that right?
I think it's more than that.
Huh? It's more than that?
Yeah,
We spend more than that in salaries?
I think so.
God damn, scaring the hell out of me, man. You got all these guys on the internet, hey man, I make this much money, I make that much. But dude, how much money do you spend, bro? Okay, you make $10 million and you're the only person? That ain't scaling, you ain't scaled yet. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen forever. That ain't scaling, folks. I know you don't wanna hear this. And if you're not willing to hear this, I don't wanna make you wrong. Feeling like Chris Voss right now. You feeling some pressure right now?
Seems like something crossed your mind right there.
Seems like something crossed your mind right there. But look, man, you know, this is a business. This is a real business here. You have to pay other people. Otherwise, you're going to be doing all the work. People, advertising. What are we going to spend, Jared, in advertising? Michael, this is where
probably
you need...
Probably 20 million this year.
In advertising. Okay, there's 20 million in advertising. That's going to these companies that are already richer than anybody should be, okay? Then I got customers. Hey man, how do you take care of a customer? Customer complaints, customer returns, customers bitching, customers' cards that go bad, customers confused. How you take care of that? It takes money. I got 40 employees back there. All they do every day is answer phone calls of customers. They're like, I can't find my link, okay? And then what do we got? We got other services. Other services like many of you that show up for this event, grantcardone.com/virtual. I'm gonna put you on a stage. Now I gotta get liability insurance. I'm gonna put you in my helicopter when you come down to Miami because I'm gonna blow your shit up, okay? When you go from making $1 million a year to $15 million a year, I'm gonna be like, hey Alan, man, I heard about what you did, bro. Come in early, I wanna do some video with you. I'm gonna bring you into my studio. Okay? Then I'm gonna take you out to my helicopter and I wanna put you on your social. I'm gonna blow your social up. We just had 15 people at my house. We just literally pick people, come to my house. Okay, because of your success, come hang out with me. And we do video and we have people over at the house and somebody falls and hurts them. I gotta have insurance. I gotta put you in a helicopter, I gotta have fuel. Okay, so this is customer service right here. What do you guys have funded for that? When you scale, Michael, you're gonna need somebody to have you and your wife get you to the edge of the cliff, bro. Put the plan together. I don't want you to make up the plan as you jump off. That's just crazy. You need a plan, then you need to get to the edge of the cliff, and then you're gonna need me right there with you to say, we're gonna jump, bro. Okay? And you're not jumping with yourself. I wanna jump with you. My team's gonna jump with you, and we're gonna walk you through it, okay? Lastly, let me just finish with this. This is really important. I wanna share with you guys, because I'm being asked this right now. The financial actions I take every day. And this is how do you stay on track with the dream? Because it ain't gonna happen this weekend. How do you stay so that Monday, Tuesday, next week, Wednesday, the October the 7th, October the 15th, okay? When Halloween comes, you're like, I'm going to get candy corn, okay? You're doing candy corn rather than like, wait, bro, what about the goals, bro? What are we gonna wear for Halloween? And in November, you guys understand the last 3 months of the year are the shortest 3 months of the year. You understand? October's worth about 28 days. If you worked every one of them, including Sunday, I do that. I'm gonna have to deal with God on that one. He's gonna be like, you worked a lot of 7 days, bruh. Sure did. And I did a lot of good for a lot of people, brother. Okay? So October's about 28 days if you work the way I do. November, you're cut back to about 14 days because of Christmas. It's not because of my actions, it's because of yours. You guys are traveling all over the place, okay? Going to be with your parents that don't even buy your shit. Just kidding, okay? You're going to buy, I just bought 100 turkeys for Kita on a Clubhouse. Did she hit you? She hit me up. Okay, and so we're donating to a bunch of families for Turkey Day, the people that can't take care of themselves. Christmas is worth what, Jared? Maybe 7 days?
Well, I mean, dude, I know industries that like the 15th of December, they take off from there through New Year's.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a worthless month basically. And it's a great time if you got your game on to kick Santa's ass. However, most of you don't because you're distracted by Christmas gifts, Christmas, dinners, eating too much, November, the Thanksgiving thing, the Halloween thing, and you're lost, okay? How do you stay on the game? Okay, this is what I do every day. This is a little tip for you. Number one, I look at my finances every day. First thing delivered to me every day, the first email I get every day I remember hearing Damon John say, man, he doesn't look at his emails first thing in the day because it puts him in effect. I'm like, first thing I do is look at emails. I said, make sure the first email I see every day is how much money I have today. Some of you hate that idea. Like, he's so focused on money. Yes, ma'am, I am. Why am I focused on money? Because I have found after 63 years, it is the single thing, in addition to oxygen, food, water, I have to deal with money every day. If I can't deal with the money every day, I can't buy oxygen, food, or water. Okay, there's people that cannot literally provide food for their family. They cannot find good water. So that's why I look at my finances every day. I'm looking at I get basically an account of cash, every cash account I have every day. The reason I'm looking at that every day is if I don't look at it, I can't make it better. For you guys have been waiting for your big takeaway. 2 hours you've been listening to this. Clubhouse, Instagram, Zoom. Dude, if you can't look at it, confront it, stare it down. I've been doing this since it was zero. I remember when I had one account and it was zero and I had $40,000 of liabilities. And I said, one day I'm going to have hundreds of accounts and every one of them is going to be loaded with money. And my problem is going to be, what do I do with this money? Not this problem. This is one problem. This is ridiculous. I'm in debt and have no money. And this one right here, oh, I'm sitting on $125 million in cash, and Sunday afternoon I'm going to go work. You guys build that kind of motivation, that kind of muscle, that kind of discipline, there ain't no way you're ever going to be broke again.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you're going to be dangerous. And people are going to respect you. And then people are going to ask questions about you. Dude, why is that guy still working on a Sunday?
You remember when we went to that one CEO's office? We were up north, and we were walking through. We had a tour of their facility, their headquarters, and we walked into the guy where he handles all of his real estate investing.
Yeah.
And we went up on the screen, and that same thing, that's the number that he had. Total cash.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. What do I got? A billionaire taught me this. The guy that I told you about that had the 4.4. I said, how often you look at this? He showed it to me. I said, how often you look at it? He said, I look at it every day, Grant. If I don't look at it, I can't control it. If I control it, I can move it. I can move it. I can decide what to do with it. Okay? If you're not looking at it, folks, it's going to disappear. Money is like like a jealous lover. If you ignore the lover, she will find someone else to sleep with. You ignore the person you love, and they will find some other bed to be in. And you deserve that because you ignored that. If you ignore this, it will go spend time with somebody that will pay attention to it. This is why Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, this is why MetLife, New York Life, because they pay attention and you don't. You spend 12 years learning how to count, read, write, do English, and fucking home study, whatever the hell that course was. And then you don't spend any time on money. So every day, not just this day, and by the way, when you do this course with us, we're going to get an agreement before you leave that you're going to start looking at money every single day. When I drop these exercises on you and I get you into the 10X Super Life, grantcardone.com/virtual, it's going to start telling you, I need you to look at your money today. I need you to look at your accounts. If they're bad, I need you to look at them. I need you to keep looking at them until we change them. Because if you're not going to confront them, they're not going to grow, okay? So when I look at this account, by the way, once I look at it, get control of it, then my job is to what do I want to do with this money? Because it's dying, you understand? I learned this when I was in a produce store when I was 16 years old, 15 years old, man. The produce manager said, look, man, you got to look at the produce every day, bro. I still do this with our company today. What are our assets? What's going bad? What do you mean what's going bad? What's about to expire?
The bruised banana.
What's the bruised banana, bruh? Why? Because we need to take it and move it up front, okay? Grant, how do you keep your attention on all this stuff going on in your life? All I do is handle the bananas that are going bad. That one little thing I learned from that guy. So the billionaire taught me, look at your finances. Look at your assets. The produce manager, hey man, make sure you get that stuff that's going bad to the front of the store so people can buy it. Drop the price, get rid of it while it's still worth something, okay? Same with cash, by the way. Cash is garbage. Anybody that doesn't think this is garbage is either real rich and waiting for a moment. I don't mean you got $5 million. I'm talking about 80 million, 100 million in cash. You're trying to make a move, so you're accumulating cash to make a big move, most of which of you will be wrong about the move, even the rich people. Rich people don't do like that. They're in. They're always in the game, okay? So look at your finances, number one, okay? Remember, this is trash. It is being depleted and depreciated. And if you keep it, they will get it, okay? So number two thing I'm going to do that day, 95% of my day as an individual household member in control of the finances and also as a business owner and a manager of a department at my company, whether it's the real estate, our event business, our book business, our online business, Cardone Ventures, or
Incubator.
10X Incubator, any of the enterprises that I'm involved in, okay? 95% of my time is spent invested on targets and the attainment of that target. Okay? 95% of my time is invested in the production of the goals necessary to produce more assets. I'm going to repeat that. 95% of my time in a day, maybe 98, is spent on those activities that will produce or move me toward the goal, Jordan Peterson. Happiness comes from the attainment of a goal, the forward movement, the production of new assets to buy new assets, okay? So that's where 95% of my time is spent on who can help me reach my targets. So I'll come into Jared. Hey, Jared, what's our target on that webinar? Okay, good. What's the target on the growth conference? Good. What's the target? I go to Brian. Hey, man, I start looking at all these things, all these lists of things that I have to do that day. The only things I deal with on any given day are the ones where we have a pin pulled from the grenade. Okay, man, you got 30 minutes before this one blows. You got 30 days before this one blows. And in 3 months, this nuclear weapon is going to go off. Okay, I'm not worried about the nuclear weapon right now. I'm worried about that one that's got 3 minutes left on the grenade about to pop off, okay? 3, target clarification. This is every day I'm doing this. And I'm doing this with no effort now, just like Chris Voss talked about. He talked about the Zen, no effort, okay? By the way, we're going to give you guys to take advantage of grantcardone.com/virtual. I'm going to give you the Monday interview with Kevin O'Leary, Tuesday, the Sharon Lechter interview, the Magic Johnson interview. These are 1-hour presentations. I'm going to give you the Chris Voss interview, the Jordan Peterson interview, and the Stormy Wellington.
Kevin O'Leary.
Just the one Stormy Wellington interview, promise you is worth the money. I'm going to give you all that, the 10X Super Life program, the Marketing Mastery program, the workbook, and the 5-hour, talk about a sensei program, the Grant Cardone Mastering the Close program, okay? So target clarification, okay, what am I doing every day on target clarification? Number one, what are the targets? We'll walk through this with you at the virtual boot camp. Number two, who can attain that? That's not a customer, by the way, inside. Can Johnny help me do that? No, Johnny can't help me. You guys got to find out. We got 7 people on a video team in here. I want to go attain a target. I want to kill something, right? I want to finish a deal up. Johnny's not my guy. Johnny's the guy that's going to shoot video with me this weekend. You got any of that video, Johnny? That was some sick video. Why don't you show it to them before anybody else? Can you? Or it's too hard? I'll try. That was ridiculous, okay? Who? I go to Sabrina. I can get a hug from Sabrina. I can get some love, I can have some fun with her, but she can't attain my target today, right? Or maybe she can, okay? Number 3, what can I do? What can I do to accelerate into the future and reach into the future and pull it toward me? This is what we do at my company, like magically. We've done events where everybody says, bro, you need like 9 months to do that. We did it. One of them we did in 22 days. The entire world went crazy. Everybody that knows what I do, they're like, it's impossible. But how many days did we do it? Am I exaggerating, 22 days, or was it more than that?
The first one?
Yeah.
It was 72 days.
72 days.
Yeah.
72 days, we did an event. We had never even done an event. We didn't know what we were doing. Sometimes, ignorance is a little bliss as long as you got determination and you got the buy-in of the team and everybody believes in the dream. Okay, target clarification. This is how you stay motivated. This is how you don't quit. How many of you'd like to have this freaking neurosis? Target attainment, target clarification. Who is it? What is it? When is it? Okay, and what is the priority of targets? This is called priority intelligence, and very few people have priority intelligence. Like most people don't have emotional intelligence, and most people don't have financial intelligence. So once you get financial intelligence and you get emotional intelligence and then you get priority intelligence, guess what? You're a mean, lean, killing machine, okay? And now you're the provider of your family. Now you're the hero of your company. So regardless of who you are and where you are, regardless of how you've been brought up, look, everybody listen to this right now. Everybody's got a reason. Everybody's got an excuse. Everybody's got a problem. Everybody's got liabilities, but everybody has a dream. You have a dream, and that dream requires finances. If your dream has anything to do with freedom, choices, options, moving, I want to be happy. I don't want to compromise my integrity over and over and over again. And look, I have compromised my integrity in my lifetime. Just want to be honest with everybody. When I've had to compromise my integrity, and I'm not saying I should have, but every time I've compromised my integrity in my entire lifetime, it is because I was under financial pressure. Every time. Every time I've done business with somebody that I didn't want to do business with, or I accepted a deal that I didn't want to accept, or like Chris Voss was saying yesterday, I was trying to get something for nothing, which I've made a mistake at a lot of times, man, trying to buy a deal for less than it was worth, okay? Every time I've ever done that in my life, it was because of financial ignorance, okay? Financial intelligence that was lacking. In the last 12 years, man, I've had some major breakthroughs, and I want to share those with you. I want to share them with you. You deserve to have the competence and intelligence that wealthy people have. You got to commit to it, though. GrantCardone.com/virtual. The offer is ridiculous. Can't make it any better than that. Tonight, we're going to take out the mastering program and the 10X Super Life and the recordings and the negotiating and closing program. We're going to remove those, and we're going to double the price.
So, and a couple people asked about that. So what happened is we had some people that had purchased the recording and weren't on yesterday. So we had about 85 emails this morning from people going, hey, you guys didn't, give me the opportunity to take advantage of it. So that's why we extended the pricing. But tonight's the night. We're gonna remove all the bonuses from the offer, and so tonight's the night. It's the last day you can get it.
I want to help you. You're the only one that can click the button. I can't do that. We've also included a guarantee. If for any reason you're unhappy, bang, you just call us up. Hey man, I didn't get my $297 back. I'm gonna spend 3 days with you. If you guys don't want to do it virtual, and you want to come in person, what are we going to do for that? We're going to put together like 20 people in the room with us.
The baller
room. What did we do those for last time? $25,000?
Yep.
25 grand. Call my office tomorrow or email Alan at GrantCardone.com or Annie at GrantCardone.com. $25,000. You get the whole program and you get to sit in the live.
We're only going to have, we only have the ability to do 10 people live. So you're going to be in a small group of 10
Johnny,
people.
can you show him? Is Johnny still there? He's not there. He's going to show you this setup. It's about $3 million we spend. I'm basically wrapped in cameras. No, not cameras, but cameras and screens.
Screens, yeah.
So most of this room around me is wrapped in 20-inch,
LED
16
screens.
to 20-inch LED screens, okay? So I can see everybody that's on the platform. I'll know you by name, okay? Like I'm looking at a Zoom right now. I can see Manuel, Derek, Jane. The difference is on this piece of technology, I can click a button and connect 5 people to 7 people at a time and say, here's your exercise. Go in the room. You have 7 minutes. Can't do that in a live event. It's impossible. Okay, if I break a live event, say, okay, guys, break out into groups of 5, dude, I'll spend I'll spend an hour and a half just getting everybody back in their chair. You just can't do it. With technology allows me actually to teach better when you're not there. But for you guys that want to come hang out with Uncle G, $25K, 3 days. Any of you that want to do something private with me, 1 hour, $100,000, all of it goes to my foundation, Grant Cardone Foundation. If you want personal coaching from me, I'm not $1,000 an hour. I'm $100,000, and I'll do it, but I don't know why you'd want to do it. But
we have people to do it.
We have people to do it, and it's cool if you would, and if I can make it work in my schedule, I'll do it. But really, what I want to do is I want to help people. I don't want to help one person that's got $100,000. I want to help a bunch of people. And we made this affordable for you guys. And we put the guarantee in. And you need to get started tonight because we're less than 20 days away from the event. GrantCardone.com/virtual. I want to help you with your financial intelligence, your emotional intelligence, and your priority intelligence. If you don't fix those 3 things, folks, we're in a weird time right now on this planet. Weird. Like if you guys don't think this is a weird time, then, because I'm worried. My daughter came to me 2 days ago and said, Papa, when I grow up, is the world going to be a terrible place? That's Sabrina. Hey, when I grow up, Papa, is the world going to be a terrible place? I said, baby, I tell you what, I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. I know it's not going to be terrible for me. Okay, I don't know what you're going to do. You got some decisions to make when you grow up. But I can tell you the world's not getting better for most people. It's getting worse. And I'm not to be a naysayer, but I'm just a critical fact. Like, hey, man, doesn't look like most people are doing well to me. People losing their jobs. Firemen and policemen and military people, nurses and teachers. This is freaking insanity. Okay? It's crazy, man. Bankers are calling me. Hey, man, I'm being forced to do something I don't want to do, man. I might be losing my job October 6th. I said, yeah, I'm with you, bro. What are you going to do? Well, I don't know what to do. Well, you know what you need to do? You need to get your shit together, bro. You guys need to start moving in the direction of wealth, because people that have wealth, they aren't affected like this. They go where they want. They do what they want with the people they want as long as they want. If you have the commitment, put it in the chat. If you have the commitment, if you're watching on YouTube, put it in the chat. I'm committed, man. If you're committed to financial freedom, you need to understand that's not about income. It's not about rich either. It's about creating wealth. And why would you have it if nobody taught you how to get it? Very few people know how to play the wealth game.
Yeah.
And even fewer people that have achieved the wealth game are willing to share it with you. I'm going to share 3 days with you. I need you to get through these programs to prepare yourself for the 3 days. My name's Grant Cardone. I hope you take advantage of this. My whole team's here. We love you guys. We believe in you. I want to blow your game up. I want to show you off on my stage. We're looking for at least 25 people out of this event, by the way, that we're going to bring on our stage in March and literally bring you up and show you off to 40,000 people, both in the room and around the world. We do the largest events in the world. It's called 10X Growth Conference. So I need October, November, December, January, February, March. I'm going to work with you for 6 months, if you'll let me. And hopefully for those of you that are super committed, go to the next level and execute on this information, this training, this emotional and financial intelligence. And I can show you off on my stage in March, okay? Look, I did it in 3 months. You give me double that, we're going to make some millionaires. I hope you're one of them.